All right. Getting started. There we go. Crank up those engines. Okay, that was unnecessary.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said, I drank what?
Oh, yes. Getting one thing, and then we're ready to go.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen.
Three, two, one, let's go. Hey, all right. Is the microphone? Yeah, the microphone's on and everything. Welcome. Hi. How are you? Hi, chat room. Welcome. Good to see you. I didn't say it, but because you guys already know it. You know it. Hit that like. Hit the like a Rooney. Hit the like it as much as you can. Take it and like it. Just do it, like it, and don't be afraid to like it. Am I streaming? It's up. Okay, good. All right. I was for a second there. It wasn't showing up on there. I was very concerned. Jamie, could you put the show up on the big screen so we can see that the show's on the big screen? Or Jamie, put up that video that I had the other day that I tried to smoke that video and it just didn't take or something. So I made it in a suppository form and shoved it up my ass. Remember that? You helped. Remember, Jamie? Is anybody here? Okay. Welcome back. How are you? Good to see you. Jamie, put the chat up on the board so I can see the people chatting. I don't care what they say. I just want to make sure that I'm adored. Hello. Boston Brian, robots for everyone. I insist. I got to tell you that if you didn't catch this morning's Friday Eye, it was we're starting to get a good pace on that show. We're starting to get it's starting to people are even the people who are disinterested are suddenly becoming interested. Jamie, put up that video about the robots that are going to destroy the world by rebuilding it first and tricking us into thinking the world is good for like 1,000 years just so they could sucker us into... I got to stop smoking whatever Alex Jones gives me. Speaking of smoking whatever Alex Jones gives you, I think we might actually have our first like Alex Jones story in a while. Not that we're short on cuckoo. Yeah. So apparently some dude a long time ago predicted that World War III would happen and it would be Israel's fault. And Alex Jones is doing his I Told You So tour on this. If I might bring it right up, you're watching House Sparks Megaworldwide, by the way. I'm going to go straight into the show because I ran late yesterday because I was dilly-dallying. I have so much to cover and it's just impossible. And it's Shart week. So if you're not familiar with the story that Donald Trump is shitting himself in court. And thoughts and prayers to Walt Nada, who has to hose him down. Anyways, so this apparently in true timely fashion, this guy predicted World War III would start in Israel. As every biblical like right-winger has said forever, and also it's not even World War III. If it starts in Israel, it's not World War III. It's the end of the world. We're moving off this physical plane to an astral plane. I don't even know why you're afraid. Like, do you even faith, bro? It drives me crazy, these dipshits. So, anyways, But here we go. Let's let's give it a try.
What role in the Middle East again does Israel play in this?
What role in the Middle East does Israel play?
Israel was created as the instrument to bring about the Battle of Armageddon and the fulfillment of prophecy, a war that will be so terrible.
Dummy. I mean, who doesn't know that? Shut up already. God.
Where nuclear weapons will be used so that the American citizens and the other people in the world will get down on their knees and beg for no more war. And what is the answer to that? They're going to be told the only way we can guarantee no more war is if we destroy the sovereignty of nations.
Oh, I see. Okay, so the apparently the vast majority of people on Earth do not aren't convincing in our desire for no more war, and the only thing that'll convince us is one world government. So World War III is going to start in Israel to convince us all to have a one world government so the Antichrist can come back. And they're okay. I don't know. If you're on the right side of Jesus, I don't care why. I don't understand why you're upset about this at all. I mean, why? Explain this to me. Somebody fucking explain this to me. Why, if right-wing Christians believe what they say they believe, are they not high-fiving themselves every time shit pops off in the Middle East? It's coming, bro. Jesus is on his way back, right? Right?
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now, InfoWars tell...
We lie to you about what happened already. It's amazing. It's incredible. InfoWars is fantastic at bullshitting you about stuff that you've already seen happen. It's easy to lie about the future. It's almost as easy to lie about what's going on right now if people are just joining in. But man, only InfoWars can lie about shit that already happened and is provably a lie and still do it.
Tells you the truth about what's happening next. Visit Infowars.com/show and share the link today.
Now, here's William Cooper.
Okay, you're a jackass. All right, I don't want to hear any shit about any of my sets ever. I don't want to be, none of this bullshit about childish, space age, Gen X, Star Wars wannabe, but I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any of that. No, fuck you. This dude is worth used to be worth $1 billion, allegedly, and makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and this is what he spends his fucking money on. What is this shittery? What is this? Why don't you just get a copy of the upright video game Tempest and just stand in the fucking box? Just take the guts out and just stand there with your hands on the controls. Actually, now that I think of it, it sounds way cooler than whatever the fuck this is.
30 years ago. And by the way, when we posted an article about this, and I posted this on my X account Saturday, I saw a bunch of comments saying, you hate William Cooper. Why are you promoting him?
I don't hate William Cooper. I hate taking anything for acid reflux.
It's a made-up fight. I think William Cooper was really smart, really good on a lot of stuff. He didn't like me at a certain point.
Oh, really? What was it? The torturing of parents who just lost their children? I don't know the Cooper dude, so I don't know what his line was with a shitheel like you fucking tool.
And got mad at me because there's some edited tapes on Y2K out of context.
Because, wait, you edited him about Y2K or you tried to retroactively fix all your shit where you were saying Y2K is the next World War III, and you fixed it, and he called you out on it.
NBC News did report a missile was launched out of Russia. I reported it, and then they said it wasn't a missile. It was a missile test, and it turned into this whole thing. Rest in peace, William Cooper. And so I'm not in competition.
What? What the fuck are you talking about? Hold on. Let me see. Russia missile Y2K. When Russia and America okay, UK is okay, hold on. When Russia and America cooperated to avert a Y2K, was this 2019? This was the kind of NBC New York 2 days ago. This is I need something old. CIA plays down Russia Y2K risks 1999. That wasn't it. Russia ballistic missile strikes Ukraine's largest. No. Russia kills dozens of massive aerial assault. Russia kills Ukrainians. Russia's murdering Ukrainians. Russia, sorry, I'm not saying anything on Y2K and your bullshit made up story that I reported a real story and then they took it down just to fuck with me.
William Cooper, I think he was a really smart, intriguing guy, and I agree with him, by the way, that there are
when it's useful and suits me, and
these mystery schools beyond the Masons that are
fuck you
are behind all these different groups manipulating us and basically trying to hijack the Bible to trigger World War III early. We know Albert Pike was into that. This is really important.
What? Albert Pike? Albert Pike's been dead for, 100 fucking years? Albert Pike, for those of you who don't know, wrote Morals and Dogma. The dude was a fucking Civil War general. Albert Pike was like, he wanted to trigger World War III. He wanted to wait till he died before cell phones were invented. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, that was Abe Lincoln's thing, too, for a while. Abe Lincoln was big on that. You know, all of Abe Lincoln's generals were trying to bring around World War III before World War I or World War II. That's how they get you.
What role in the Middle East, again, does Israel play in this?
By the way, of course he's a source worth having. He's on VHS in a plaid short-sleeve shirt. I mean, this is as good as the podium at the White House.
Israel was created as the instrument to bring about the Battle of Armageddon and the fulfillment of prophecy, a war that will be so terrible, where nuclear weapons will be used, so that the American citizens and the other people in the world will get down on their knees and beg for no more war. And what is the answer to that? They're going to be told the only way we can guarantee no more war is if we destroy the sovereignty of nations and we come together as one humanity.
Fucking Bible. Am I right? The whole Bible. I blame the Bible. All this shit in the Bible.
In a one world government.
Right.
Read the book of Revelations. Whether you believe in the book or not, read it, because the men who are bringing this about are using it as their script.
Okay. And the Jewish people were then being manipulated into believing it was for some other reason.
That's correct. They've always been.
Well, yeah, they're a little, that's the thing about Jews. They're a little, sponge-headed, right?
Manipulated. And I get people who still come to me all the time and say, Bill, you're all wrong. It's the Jews. The Jews are subverting the world.
Is that... raise your hand if you think that was Alex Jones he was talking about back then.
Man,
hey, look, he quoted me almost directly in that video. I think I'm completely justified in, clearly, Bill Cooper's, at least he remembered what I said to him.
It's not the Jews. It's not the Catholics. It's not the blacks.
So it's the Asians and the Muslims.
It's these men who belong to the ancient mystery schools, who meet in secret and decide the fate of the world.
Yeah, cool. Would one name be too much to ask?
And they belong to all different races and all different nationalities and all different religions to the public point of view. But in secret, it's a different story.
Well, I honest to God, this is 30 years ago. I gotta say, what the fuck are they waiting for?
And people then single out Masons, and I'm not here apologizing for Masons, and say they were on it. The average Mason is not involved in anything bad. They're involved in community work, you name it. George Washington was a Mason.
Right.
But if you type...
So is Ben Franklin. There is no America without Masonry. Fuck you.
And George Washington's letters on the Illuminati, they're in the National Archives. There's like...
By the way, the Illuminati and the Enlightenment, do you ever notice how those phrases are very close? The whole point was to move away from monarchies and autocracy to the Enlightenment, where every human being could be educated to the point where they were a good shepherd of their own fucking life. That was the whole point. And then, isn't it weird how a phrase like the Illuminati would be hijacked by the very people who want to put you back in an autocratic box? Then that someone would take the Enlightenment, the age of reason, where each human being would no longer be a slave to religious or monarchical ideology, be able to express and show their worth as individual people, vote and have access to, you know, inalienable rights and access to information. Nutty, right? And it's interesting to me, you know, and for those of you who don't know, I am a Mason, that it's interesting to me that the countries that are against Masonry should tell you something about what Masonry is about. Russia, Saudi Arabia, Iran, China, right? You can't be one there. It's illegal. Yeah, it's dangerous. They will kill you. Meanwhile, if you like the Iranian Grand Lodge, which meets in exile, meets in my lodge in Los Angeles. They use our space to meet in exile because they can't do it. They're not free to do it in Iran. They'll get killed. Right. Okay. And there's no racial segregation, none of that stuff. Like it is about men being better. Women don't need it. It's not about the exclusion of women. We've talked about this before. Women are not excluded from Masonry. They don't need it. Men need to be matured. We have the ability to ruin everyone's life from the second we become fertile to the day we die. Women have an arc of their fertility that creates a maturity that is beyond the understanding of men in a lot of ways. So men got to be taught to shape the fuck up, because when we misuse our power and treat people like shit, it's very, very bad. All right, so that's the shorthand of it. But look at who's against it all the time, who's constantly shitting. And by the way, this dial back is nothing, because this motherfucker's been after him forever, and after the Masons, and fucking hates Shriners, and they all think St. Jude's is a fucking, like, no doubt. Hold on one second. Where's my mouse back? There is no doubt that that people who believe in, you know, where are you, silly man? There it is. I'll tell you one thing right now, goddammit. You don't have to believe what I'm telling you, but you got to understand that it's true, all right? Now listen here. St. Jude's Children's Hospital is all a front. It's just a dome put over a giant hole that goes down 5 miles into the center of the goddamn earth. And then there's a conveyor belt, and it takes you to where? Let me hear you. Chat room. Where the fuck does it take you? Where does that thing head straight for? Everybody knows it. Y'all come on and tell me now. All right. Straight to the Denver airport. There you go, Momet. You know it. Takes all points converge at the Denver goddamn airport. I will be having a meetup at the Sexy Liberal Denver show somewhere around there. Obviously at an undisclosed site. Only disclosed to the underbelly. It does go to the Mall of America, but that's a waypoint. That is not the end destination. Everything goes right there. So don't forget about it and remember it later. Wow. Come on.
15 of them at least that I've read. And he talks about Masonry's being taken over by the Illuminati out of France and Germany.
Okay, fuck you. The French Masonry, that's what Ben Franklin went to France to enlist them in their fight against the British. And he joined Lafayette's Masonic temple and became a brother, was raised in that French temple as a Mason there, because there's a difference between the kind of territories of it. And since they became brothers, that was a trusted union, and then they helped us out. Fuck you. There is no America without Masonry. There's also no America without French Masons. That's why there's a Fayette County in every fucking red state in this goddamn country.
They're taking over our order and using it for global domination. They're trying.
You're an asshole. You don't know what you're fucking talking about.
Trying to take over our new country in America. This is when
our new country in America. Yeah, that's what they did. They tried to take over it by helping us fight off the fucking British.
He left the presidency. We've got to stop him. All Masons was before Christianity, going back to Solomon, before that, back to the Egyptians, you didn't just get to go to college. They were called mystery schools, and they taught mathematics and farming and medicine, but also had a lot of, occultic stuff in them because it predated Christianity and even predated Judaism. And so then...
Nothing predates Judaism. Don't believe me? Watch Judy Tenuta's bits. Rest her soul.
Masonry's a vestigial arm of the mystery schools, but there's the real mystery schools that are behind that. And George Washington talked.
Yeah, they're behind Masonry and Judaism and Christianity and the Romans and Caesar and the fucking czars, and they're behind everything. All right. Well, if they're behind everything and you're alive now, then I guess thanks, right, lizard people. Thanks, lizard aliens who run every fucking thing, because apparently this dumb motherfucker is thriving.
About it. So people ask, how do I square up, to use one of their terms?
Fuck you.
George Washington being good, but then Adam Weishaupt's bad.
And by the way, it's not square up, dipshit. It's how do I square this with something else? It's that's a normal vernacular. By the way, the idea of being a square also comes from Masonry, because you don't imbibe to extremes. You don't, back in the 60s especially, you didn't do drugs, and if you drank, it was just you drank very little. It was moderation, and so you were a square. That's where that comes from. That literally is a pejorative against how Masons wouldn't do that.
Well, George Washington was against Adam Weishaupt, and they launched their counter-revolution against what was launched in America, a counterfeit. That's what the devil does. And you look at the fruits of our republic, the whole...
We didn't need it, dumb fuck. They already had a counter idea to America. It was every other government on the fucking planet. Good Lord. Yeah, square up is a fighting term. That is totally true. Or squaring off also as well. Like, this is just fucking stupid. No. America didn't need a counter revolution to what America was doing, because the counter already exists. Imperialism, monarchy, authoritarian theocracy. No, you didn't need a counter. It itself was the counter. Jesus Christ, this is so stupid.
The world wants to get rid of the system we have and replace it with this one world government system.
Yeah, that's what all the monarchies were doing. They were trying to create the British Empire, the Mongolian Empire, or the Rusko-Moscovite Empire, or the fucking Qin Dynasty Empire, or any of those groups. The Muslims were trying to create an empire. Don't believe me? Ask what's left of the Iranians. Right? That was the point. We were the only one that wasn't. Oy.
George Washington was against that. Look up his writings.
I tell you what. Next week is Philadelphia, Sexy Liberal. Come on down, see the show. And if I have time, and I hope I do, well, I know I'm going to go there, but I'll let everybody know when I'm going to go. The Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania is in Philadelphia, and it's a wonderful building. And outside is a giant bronze statue of Ben Franklin handing George Washington his Masonic apron, which is inside, and you can see it. It's handmade, and it's beautiful, and it's a piece of art. It's amazing, but it's in there. And there's also a giant statue of Ben Franklin in there. They call Big Ben. That's like 15 feet tall.
Well, not being involved in foreign entanglements, but William Cooper was dead on about the mystery schools, and at the end of the day,
no, he wasn't. He died a conspiracist asshole, just like you will. He, for all practical purposes, just like you did, spent his entire life making the world worse. Just basically taking the wind out of people's. It never, not in a permanent sense. The mark of Alex Jones on this world will have some pathetic road bumps of assholes who committed horrible acts in his name or what have you. But there is no legacy of this shit. None whatsoever. As soon as he's gone, it's gone. People will have memories of it like fucking, like pointy shoulder jackets in the 80s. I mean, honestly. And imagine your life's work. That's the impact. I had a couple of my followers go nuts and shoot some people, and then the rest of it was fucking intellectual toilet paper.
It's a religious, spiritual war, and it's a dark, occultic, satanic force behind it. Yeah, there it is. George Washington and William Russell, September 28, 1798, and that's just one of the letters on the Illuminati. You can't make this up, folks.
I've heard much of the nefarious and dangerous plan and doctrines of the Illuminati, but never saw the book until you were pleased to send it to me. The same causes which have prevented my acknowledging the receipt of your letter had prevented my reading the book. Hitherto, namely, the multiplicity of matters which pressed upon me before, and the debilitated state in which I was left afterward, a severe fever had been removed, from which allows me to add little more now. Then, thanks to your kind wishes and favorable sentiments, except to correct an error you have run into of my presiding over the English lodges in this country. The fact is, I preside over none, nor have I been in one more than once or twice. Within the last 30 years, I believe, notwithstanding, that none of the lodges in this country are contaminated with the principles ascribed to the Secretary of the Illuminati. With respect, I am. Okay, I am George Washington. So he's talking about the British lodges, meaning that they were kind of like the Church of England being under the king, right? That they were creating their own separate lodges because they wanted to legitimately be free of any kind of influence by the king.
Okay, here's the toll-free number on the gigantic subject of Israel and Iran and potential of Armageddon and World War III and domestic terror attacks and
Yeah, we never heard that shit
canceling the
before.
election. It's a huge subject area.
Yeah, it is. It is. I can't disagree with that. It is a huge subject area. Says the guy sitting behind a teenage gamer's wet dream desk.
And it's the one topic we're covering because it's 1,000 topics in one.
All right, sure. Yeah, I can't. It makes total sense.
877-789-2539, 877-789-2539, 877-789.
Let me get this straight. Your desk is covered in paper, stacks of it in some cases. You have. We are approaching Armageddon. By the way, he's not on right now. This isn't live. Otherwise, I would totally call. We're at an inflection point that you think is going to culminate in the end of the fucking world, and you need help filling airtime with callers. Look, I know what a slow news day can be for somebody who's in the talking for a living business. I as a my radio show's only on Saturdays, but I've certainly been around hosts or filled in for them when they're like, I don't know what we're going to talk about today. It's kind of a slow news day. I don't ever have that problem because I love the sound of my own voice. But you're telling me that there's this much shit going on, and you're like, somebody call in and bail me the fuck out.
Alex, and we're going to take your calls on this subject, and I'm going to move quick. So no matter how informative you are, you get 1 minute, and I'm blasting the next person because I want to get a bunch of people on ahead of Jack Posobiec. And we also have the man popping in who in New Zealand is putting up giant Alex Jones was right, Infowars.com billboards.
Oh my God, fuck you. All right. So anyways, apparently it's the end of the world as we know it, and Alex Jones feels like shit. And he's run out of stuff to talk about because the world, god damn it, just won't end. Why in the world won't the... What? Hold on. Benny Thompson introduced the disgrace bill to strip secret former conviction of... Oh, I see. Yeah. We'll see about that. Yeah, any president who's convicted of a felony should... These are, I guess these are, technically a felony, so he would lose Secret Service protection if that bill went through. Fascinating. Going to be a little hard to pass it through the House right now, but not a bad idea. And I think everybody's going like, well, I don't know, why the fuck, that'll never happen to me. Obviously, Matt Gaetz will vote against it because he's still psychotic enough to think he could be president and knows for a fact he's going to be convicted of a felony at some point. Now, speaking of convicted felons, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Donald Trump's first ever trip to a bodega. Now, He may have gone to one previously for The Apprentice. I don't think so. I think they just sent contestants there. I think he talked about it from his office, right? Or the fake office they built for him. But he went to the bodega, and it's one of these places where you can just tell he has no idea what's going on. But I guess they put this ad out. It's a 1 minute.
Violent ex-con attacking a hard
Okay, that's the guy who attacked him, and then the other guy attacked him back.
working store clerk here in New York City. The clerk fought back and stabbed his attacker to death. Radical DA Alvin Bragg slapping him with a murder charge.
Going to a bodega.
Go to a bodega. Go to a bodega. By the way, this was put on by the New York Young Republicans Club, the NYYRC.
Crowds gather.
They led all the chants. It was not spontaneous at all. Sorry if it's loud. I'll bring it back down. The other one was. All right, there you go.
In Upper Manhattan as former President Trump visits a bodega.
This is the moment Mr. Trump arrived tonight. People lined up along 139th at Broadway as he made
to give him the finger, and then they're playing clapping audio.
his way inside the Hamilton Heights bodega.
Yeah, these are all the people who were there earlier and arranged
Bodega to meet with Jose Alba. Alba is the bodega worker who fatally stabbed a man in July of 2022 in a case of self-defense. On Tuesday.
Right, and there was ultimately there ended up not being a case about it, and that was that.
He used a Harlem bodega as a backdrop to slam Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg for being what he calls soft on crimes that matter.
Without a doubt, very much supported here.
That's Brian, what's his name's voice?
In Harlem.
Without a doubt, very much supported here in Harlem. All right. How do these people... do they learn to speak from a book? And are the pages torn out and like rearranged without letting them know? Right. Anyways, so they made an ad. Not surprising. And out of that thing, because it was completely contrived. Now, there's a couple of things. One of the best things that's happening. Okay. Do they have the whole thing in here? I don't know. Maybe this is Fox, and then he comes out and yeah. So this is a report. All right. How do I put this? By the way, you're watching House Sparks Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Let people know we're here. Share out the show, because if people don't know, it doesn't pop up in there. Because I'm shadow banned by the establishment deep state. Clearly. God damn it! That they're trying to keep me off the goddamn air. That's right. If they had their way, I'd be in Baja. That's right. So goddamn it, hit that like. What's wrong with you? Nobody else is this fucking entertaining. Goddamn, where have you seen anything even remotely this fun dealing with these topics? Okay, once at the little show we put on in the basement underneath the Denver airport, but that was my one time in drag, and it's not gonna happen again. So, no, Jesse is not a maggot. Jesse is a pot-smoking libertarian dropout. I ain't got time for weed. Actually, that's all I got time for. So, 42 million. Donald Trump is really working. Sorry, I got to do this. Swinging. Oh God. We love you, Major. So this is a report from Fox News. This is Bill Hemmer. Bill Hemmer used to be one of the normies at Fox. And now there are no normies allowed. So he used to be the guy that, he was kind of cut from, he comes out of that dispenser that makes mid-'80s game show hosts. You know what I mean? Long time ago. Used to be relatively normal. And I met him, I want to say he was working for NBC when I was doing a bit for, I don't know, it was when I massaged Diane Sawyer's calves. It's a long time ago. But anyways, he was present, and we were celebrating like service members, and yeah, and so a long time. Anyways, he was very weird, and but he was kind of normal. He was just kind of milquetoast, and now he's at Fox, kind of selling the the standard line. But here, this is Trump lashes out, day 4 of trial. Man, is he angry. That's the title of it. Man, is he angry. Woo, buddy. Come on. So here we go. Let's see.
Okay, the stage is set, kind of, sort of right now. You got a 12-member jury and 1 alternate so far. You got a few more you're looking for, however.
Okay, so this is in the morning. This is right after Fox and Friends. This is when he's coming in, I guess.
5
or they're watching
more alternates, and the attorneys will focus on that today, and that's the point of trial when it begins in 10 minutes. Well, court, rather, I should say. Been a tumultuous week. Who knows what happens next, right? All this paving the way for the possibility.
I'm here today they put me in this toddler pen, and it's just me and Odd Job over here.
That you get opening statements on Monday. Carl Rove digs deeper in a moment on the politics of it. Eric Sean's got the news outside Supreme Court, State Supreme Court, Lower Manhattan here in New York. And Eric, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill. Man, is he angry. The former president arrived here just 20 minutes ago.
He seems a little like waddly. I would have said waddly, not angry. I would have said like wiggly, you know, like, is this anger? Is this what you're selling as anger when he does this?
Really lashing out repeatedly at the gag order that has been imposed on him by Judge Juan Merchan. As you said, this comes as today's goal is to get the 5 alternate jurors to pick the full 18-member panel to hopefully kick off opening arguments in this trial on Monday. And as far as the jury that has already been picked, they say that they will judge this case fairly and
based on whether or not your elbows look normal. Also, I like the purple accents in this dude's hair, and I think the fact that he's wearing earbuds in court should not be held against him.
Partially, and only rely on the evidence that they hear. But the former...
There's Trump sleeping and farting. Look at that. Eyes closed. Boy, is he mad. And if he was awake, he'd tell you.
The president says that's the problem. He says the case shouldn't have been brought, and the gag order he is demanding be lifted now.
Wait a minute. Is there is Marcia Clark speaking from the other side? Or, I mean, she's still alive, but is she, like, being beamed into the court? Or
The gag order has to come off. I should be allowed to speak. Every time I come out to speak to you.
What? Play the rest of it, you fuck.
And some of the views expressed...
What? Every time I come out to speak to you, what?
By a few of the jurors have raised eyebrows from observers. Trump's attorneys tried to keep one woman off the jury. She was critical of Trump, telling the court, quote, "I don't like his persona, how he presents himself in public. I don't like some of my coworkers, but I don't try to sabotage their work."
I like this lady. I don't know who she is, but bless her heart. Also, she didn't end up staying on it, insofar as I know. Isn't that the point?
That prompted some laughter in the jury box, but Trump's attorneys were not laughing. They tried. To keep that woman off the jury, but they had run out of challengers, so she is on. Another jury, though, is more positive. She said,
well, shouldn't she be at cause if she does anything that can bounce her? They got.
She likes the fact that, in her words, Trump speaks his mind. And a man follows the former president on Truth Social, but he also follows Michael Cohen on X. And speaking of Cohen, the expected story witness, former Trump lawyer, the former president continues to attack him on social media, and that has prompted DA Alvin Bragg to demand that Trump be found in contempt of court. Bragg has cited 10 examples that could cost the former president $10,000 in fines if the judge finds that he did violate the gag order. That charge also carries a 30-day jail term, but nobody here
Yeah, nobody thinks he'll serve 30 days.
believes
sure.
that the former president basically would be jailed over that. But it is...
No, he'll be fined first, and then he'll keep doing it, and then he'll fuck around and find out. This absolute, and by the way, no, it's not 10,000 per. It's 10 charges. It's just $1,000 a piece. He doesn't.
The gag order that is on the.
according to this guy.
Former president's mind, saying other people can attack him, like Michael Cohen, but under the judge's ruling, he cannot criticize either other witnesses, jurors, the court staff, or their family members, and he says that is deeply unfair. And as you heard, he says it should be lifted.
Yeah, they can't do it either. If the jurors went on fucking TV after if the jurors came out and just went, okay, today we had this thing, he was fucking shitting his pants, he smells bad, it's just terrible. Like, I was thinking I'd probably find him innocent, but goddamn, the stench is so bad. I'm like, can we just call him guilty and get the fuck out of here? Like, that person would be bounced, as was any staff member. They're not talking. He wants to be able to attack them while they're gagged by their official duties. And as far as the witnesses, none of them are saying anything new. It's not like we've adjudicated a lot of this back and forth in the public eye. It's about the details of the case that will be presented in court and isolating it to what the state can prove and what they can't. Not this fucking war of words outside the courtroom.
It likely will not, but will get him into more hot water if he continues to post on social media. Go back to you.
All right, Eric. Thank you. Eric Shawn, downtown. Thank you.
I'm Steve.
Eric Shawn, downtown. Hold on. Let me see if I can find Trump outside. Let's see. Try to do this like today. Yeah. Okay, there's this. This is him before court. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, so this is the full statement, which for whatever reason, I don't know why. Maybe you guys can help me figure that out. Why do you think Fox News wouldn't play his whole statement, or at least a substantial amount? Why would they pick and choose a couple of sentences? Could it be that he's embarrassing and weird, and he shits the bed every time he talks, much less the courtroom? Let's find out.
It's coming from the White House. They have White House.
Hold on. Why is this starting here?
It's coming from the White House. They have White House DOJ people in the trial, in the DA's office, representing the DA because he's probably not smart enough to represent himself.
What? Okay, first of all, the DA doesn't represent himself. He represents the people. Secondly, fuck are you talking about? He got you, you dumb motherfucker. Again, you cannot go off about how dumb or incompetent somebody is if they got you. You gotta, the sales point, and I don't want to help this dumbass, but the sales point is these conniving, cruel people. You have to go after their cruelty and their cleverness, and they use and manipulate things. That's just saying they're fucking dumb. Just means you have to be dumber than they are.
Elected using Trump, and you're not supposed to do that. Very much like Letitia James, all of it.
Wait a minute. Who's abusing what? So weird. Like, even when I hear what he says, it doesn't make sense.
He's probably not smart enough to represent himself. This guy got elected using Trump, and you're not supposed
he got elected using
to do that. Very much like Letitia James, all of it.
Yes. Another terrible thing to bring up. Stop it. Stop reminding everyone that saying fuck Trump will get you elected in places.
New York is going down as a very corrupt place to do business. That I can tell you. A lot of people are not going to be moving to New York. But there's a rigged case, and this is a case that was put in very strongly because of politics.
This was put in very strongly because of politics.
So instead of being in Pennsylvania or Georgia or North Carolina or lots of other places today, I'm sitting in a courthouse all day long. This is going on for the week. And this will go on for another 4 or 5 weeks, and it's very unfair. And people know it's very unfair.
Boo, fuckity who.
The gag order has to come off.
No, you're a defendant. Act like it. You shouldn't even need it. That's the other thing. It isn't that he's being muzzled. It's that he is fucking incapable of defending himself without attacking other people. If you have a case and you're innocent and you believe you will be proved out, you wouldn't even have to talk about this shit, and you certainly wouldn't have to attack the fucking judge or anybody else. It's a sign of weakness. you dumb motherfucker, and I hope you end up in jail over it.
People are allowed to speak about me, and I have a gag order.
Tough shit. And also, those people are not on trial. Those people are not, I mean, half the time, half the shit he wants to say, I don't even know why his attorneys would allow him to say it or want him to say it. I can't believe they do.
To show you how much more unfair it is.
Yeah, it's so unfair. The scales are so tipped against me. It's just terrible. Boo fuckity who.
And the conflict has to end with the judge.
I agree. Stop conflicting with the judge. He's just there to call balls and strikes and make sure that justice is done. He doesn't. The jury will make a decision about you. Shut the fuck up.
It's a conflict, the worst I've ever seen, and it has to end with the judge.
It has to end with the judge. Okay. No. Hey, stupid. If you really believe this, and here's why he wants it to end early, is because the judge will handle this case and there will be no room for appeal based on any of the judge's rulings. This judge knows what he's doing, and he's well within the boundaries of good jurisprudence inside the courtroom. But Trump needs him kicked out early because that will delay this and push it further, and maybe he can get one of his appointees or some shit to come and preside over it. But if you really believe this guy was conflicted and all this shit and it was going to have an effect on him, let it play out. Give it a week and call for a mistrial because of something the judge did. Now, his attorneys will probably call for a mistrial, if not by the end of next week, the middle of the following week, based on some of this shit. That would be my guess, because he'll insist. Get me the fuck out of here. And a mistrial is the only thing they're going to be able to do. Either to try and trigger a mistrial, which will get him thrown in fucking jail, or to argue that the judge's conflicts of interest make him, a reason why they should have a mistrial. That's what they're going to do. So just do it. Take that as a secondary win, dumb fuck. But calling for him to be rejected right away means that he's going to be fair. Means you won't be able to use what he does or says in the courtroom as a way to get an appeal. And you can't do it on the facts, so you're fucked.
Gag order has to come off. I should be allowed to speak.
You are speaking right now, dum-dum. That's what, I mean, now granted, you don't make a lot of sense most of the time.
Heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your...
even though you are speaking,
our army manned the airport. It ran the rampart. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Even though you talk and you're not gagged and you're allowed to speak, that doesn't mean you're making sense. And no gag order can keep someone from making a sentence if they don't in the first place, I guess. And no one can suddenly make sense if they're just allowed to vomit out words in random order.
Don't touch my hands because they're dirty. Every time I come out to speak to you, I want to be open because we did absolutely nothing wrong. I showed you yesterday 32 stories of experts, legal experts, and I don't have one the other way.
Really? So you had 32 stories from people that said this trial should not be, you should not be on trial. This is all terrible, blah blah. And you couldn't find a single article. Let's see. What would he go with? Let's see. How about this one? Was this in there? How about this one? This is just, I was able to find this in less than 30 seconds. Donald Trump's hush money case is much more serious than initially made out by pundits and commentators, a legal analyst writes in a new op-ed. Jury selection is complete Friday. 7 men and 5 women now seated to prepare the opening statements on Monday, and blah, blah, blah. Trump is facing 34 felony counts of falsifying business records regarding a payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels. During his 2016 election campaign, he was continued to deny any wrongdoing. On Friday, before entering the courtroom, Trump again railed on the New York Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchan regarding his very unfair gag order. This disallows Trump to publicly discuss the judge, courtroom employees, and other individuals in any way associated with the case, including his former fixer Michael Cohen, a key witness for the prosecution. Legitimacy of the American government rests upon the honesty of our elections. When information is withheld from voters, as Bragg alleges happened here, that undermines democracy. Norm Eisen, a CNN legal analyst who formerly served as a counsel of the White House Judiciary Committee for Trump's first impeachment, writes, calling this trial a mere hush money trial case risks minimizing what's at stake. It's an election interference one, and we should say so. There you go. That was, you know, that took me all of 30 seconds to find. I found one. How about that? I mean, you can't say that there's not one.
32 stories of legal experts saying very strongly there's no case, this case should have been brought. Trump did nothing wrong, and they say it strongly. Trump did nothing wrong.
No, they don't. Even the ones that don't think it should be tried as a felony or don't believe these qualify as felonies know that these are misdemeanors, and none of them are saying you did nothing wrong. None of them are going, who hasn't fucked a porn star while their wife was nursing their 5-month-old at home and then ran as a Republican with Mike Pence as their vice president as a Protestant Christian and a perfect example and basically equal to Jesus. Of course they think you did something wrong, you dumb motherfucker. They just don't think you should be on trial for it because they're fucking, I don't know, they're suck-ups. That's the only reason, only thing, especially, I mean, if you're talking about Turley.
So they ought to get rid of the conflict with the judge, because that's something that he cannot do anything about. It's wrong.
Was that did that strike you as an actual sentence?
Nothing wrong. So they ought to get rid of the conflict with the judge, because that's something that he cannot do anything about. It's wrong.
They ought to get rid of the conflict with the judge because, that's something he can't do anything about because it's wrong. Where's his attorney? Why is his attorney going, boss? No, we gotta get the fuck out. That's, no.
It's wrong. And the second thing is I have to be released of a gag order. They've taken away my constitutional rights to speak, and that includes speaking to you. I have a lot to say to you, and I'm not allowed to say it. And I'm the only one. Everyone else can say whatever they want about me. They can say anything they want. They can continue to make up lies and everything else. They lie.
Yeah, but they can't do it on the stand. And if what they say in public differs from what they say under oath, they can be busted for it. And they, because they're witnesses, have to testify. Whereas you, because you're the defendant, have a Fifth Amendment protection against testifying, so you can sit there and not say fucking anything, and the jury cannot take an inference from that at all. So if they're lying in public and shitting on you, then your attorney should go, didn't you say this to the MSNBC peoples and the commies over there at the MSDNC just last week? Yes. Is that true? And I remind you you're under oath. And they have to go, no, I made it up because I just wanted Chris Hayes to like me.
They're real scum.
I gotta say, it seems perilously close to violating the gag order. They're real scum.
But you know what? I'm not allowed to speak.
He says while speaking.
And I want to be able to speak to the press and everybody else about it. So
to the French press?
Why am I gagged about telling the truth? I'm only telling the truth. They're not telling the truth.
Well, because again, they can't, in the case of witnesses, if and anybody in the jury, in the staff of the court itself, and the judge himself, all of their activities could be grounds for an appeal. So they have reason to behave themselves and not lie about the proceedings or make untrue statements, because they can get in trouble for that, and it would allow a guilty person such as yourself to go free. So they already have a built-in impetus for not doing that. They can also do jail time for the very same thing. The witnesses themselves will be called and will be under oath when they speak, and therefore their public statements can be lined up against us. And you are, oddly enough, protected by the Fifth Amendment, so you don't have to get called out. Like, has anyone explained this to him? I doubt it.
The judge has to take off this gag order. It's very, very unfair that my constitutional rights have been taken away. Thank you very much. Are you going to keep posting about Michael Cohen? You want to talk about Michael Cohen?
That's Donald Trump right there, headed into court today for jury.
That is true. That is Donald Trump right there, headed into court. So that was him going in today. Let's see. Let's see if he says something. Leaves court. Let's see. Same type of thing. Where are we? Let's see. Today. Trying to grab this up. There he is. Okay, hold on. It says world's Trump jury seats are underway. I think this is. Oh, that's him yesterday. Hold on one second. Back up.
How's it feel to have a jury?
Okay, hold on. So this is. Oh. Hold on. Why would you do that to me? The Bloom and the Berg. Hold on. 10/4 arrives at court. That's the arrival. Leaves court. How long is this guy? This one long?
I wanted to just say that I'm supposed to be in New Hampshire. I'm supposed to.
Okay, hold on. Just a bunch of ridiculous bullshit, but okay, here we go. Let's see if we can find it. By the way, if anybody's, there you go in there. Look at that. Congratulations, Stephanie Miller Show, on being named to the 2024 Hall of Fame class for the BFLO broadcasters. That's awesome. That's good. If only I could broadcast that much. Here we go. Hold on one second. I guess he speaks leaving there. Hold on. Today. Juror says Trump looked yellow in court. All right, maybe I guess this is the only one. 10 hours ago, that's the Bloomberg quick take. It's 10, yeah. So this is, yeah, much longer. So did he make a statement at the end of the day? Maybe not. We'll see. President, yeah, okay, so we'll see. But anyways, we've got a jury, and that's the important thing. Let's jump to, hold on. You guys know I'm enjoying one of the other side stories, and he just walked out? Okay. Tomorrow, there's going to be a vote on Ukraine funding and all these other bills, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, is Marjorie Taylor Greene upset. MTG blasts uniparty support for Ukraine. What the government is doing to the people is treason. Now, I almost get the anti-foreign aid shit. Like, I understand that argument. I think it's wrong, but I hear where people are coming from. I almost can understand if somebody was like, we shouldn't be funding either side of a war we're not involved in. I don't know, whatever. I can't even pretend. But I don't know what the fuck, why she thinks this would qualify as treason. Seriously. Why this is even in the fucking ballpark. It's really weird. I gotta say, even saying it like this sounds like she's being paid by Russia to do it. Like, it's so fucking extreme. Like, they can't even lie right. They can't even hide the fact that they're they're working against U.S. interests in the world. Yeah. Like, she's terrible at this. Thank God. By the way, again, always happy when Russian stooges are morons. It helps.
Congressman MTG, the floor is yours. Tell us where we are in this
Magic the Gathering?
You're there. They're trying to change the rules.
Also, who's that dude? Does Steve Bannon have to have an attorney there for her or for him?
On you as they go. You are taking incoming like nobody. It's like
she's not taking incoming. Nobody cares about her. It's the exact opposite, you dumb son of a bitch. She doesn't care. Like, nobody cares. She's wailing and flipping out and threatening to like, I don't know, file a motion to vacate the speaker seat, but then not follow through on it. And then she's like, the big news today was that Gosar signed on it. Like, who gives a shit? You know, taking incoming. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody cares. That's the point. She's not. They're just going, fuck off.
Demp and Fu
that's what she's mad about.
Every day. Tell us what's the latest.
Steve, from the very beginning of this, I have tried my best with Mike Johnson. I offered to advise him on what the MAGA base, what the Republican base wants from.
Did she support McCarthy in keeping his seat? I bullshit check mark number one. I would like to say bullshit. No, you have not from the very beginning done any such thing.
His speakership, he has totally turned me away from that.
He has totally turned you away from that.
He has not listened to any advice. He's only listening to his inner team that we find out now are lobbyists for the military industrial complex.
The industrial complex. Yes. You just found out now that his inner team are lobbyists for the military. His inner team, what the fuck are you talking about? Hey, primarily, it's the speaker's staff. What do you mean inner team? It's other Republicans.
So we know exactly who is driving the speaker's office.
I got to tell you, in terms of military industrial complex spending, $69 billion is chicken shit money for these folks. And it's not even all military stuff. Like 12 to 15 of it is like for anti-corruption and for supporting the government over there and making sure that they can feed people and evacuate citizens who are in the war zone. Like, it's not... like, they act like it's all a fucking just contract money.
I just left the Capitol a few minutes ago, Steve, where I publicly called on Mike Johnson. He needs to call a conference meeting immediately. He needs to tell Republicans up here in Congress what he's going to do with the motion to vacate, what the new rule is going to be, because here he is, Mike Johnson.
All right, because they're going to change the rule from one vote to vacate to like 5 or some shit.
Constitutional attorney who is turned into a...
By the way, one of the reasons why this vote is happening on Saturday is because this dipshit filed her stuff when she did, and so the next date they can bring this to the floor, if they do indeed, is on Monday.
Mini tyrant trying to do everything he can with trickery and behind closed doors, making deals with Democrats in order to change the rules of Congress to protect his speakership.
Oh my God, the guy, wait a minute, you gave him the job and now he wants to do the job? What an asshole. I mean, where will it end? Let's see, I think, yeah.
I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
That's...
to protect his own job, to hold on to power. And I cannot believe he's doing that. You know...
Why? What do you mean? Why would he take the job if he's just to be a fucking piñata for your bullshit? It's the Speaker of the House. It's not the Republican Speaker, and therefore fuck the Democrats. As much as you'd like it to be that, you don't have a fucking mandate, dummy. Neither do the Democrats. That's why it takes like cooperation, God for fucking ben.
The Rules Committee is meeting right now, Steve, and we believe what we've been told is he is going to be putting a change to the motion to vacate, change the rules, taking it from the requirement being one member of Congress to we don't know what, because
yeah, probably all of them. They're going to change the rules that everybody has to agree.
He's not telling us.
They have to be a supermajority. Yeah, that's what he's going to do, dummy. He's gonna make an outlandish rule so that the Democrats have yet another thing to run on. That the Republican speaker put himself in a position once he got in there to override democracy in the House entirely. Yeah.
He's only trying to do this. We think that he is working with Democrats to get the votes on the Rules Committee.
You think?
In order to pass the rule on this massive foreign aid package with another.
Yeah, it's not that massive. I got to say, it's not. That's the weird part. It's not that massive. I mean, if you talk about like, you know, if it was $100 billion or $250 billion, and that's where you're talking about, like, I'd almost buy it, especially if the country wasn't at war. But it's nowhere near that, and everybody knows it, especially considering what goes out to the military in general.
$60 billion to Ukraine and
59.7.
Changing the motion to vacate rule tied into that. He will require Democrats' votes on the Rules Committee, which would be historical. That's never happened.
Yeah, agreement across parties in the Rules Committee. What the fuck is happening to this world? We are a country in decline. How is it that Joe Biden gets in office and all of a sudden there's kind of an odd renewed democracy going on where people have to work together because the extremes of the party are trying to destroy the fucking country? It's cuckoo.
Usually the Speaker of the House only uses his party to get the votes on the Rules Committee.
Which is terrible.
We have 3 brave Republicans on the Rules Committee that are holding out. They're going to refuse to vote for this.
Great. I hope they leave and there's no quorum and they dig around and they pass it without them using a motion that these assholes didn't know existed because they don't read.
Ultimate betrayal. Chip Roy, Thomas Massey, and Ralph Norman, they're not going to be voting for it. And Mike Johnson will prove to America exactly what I've been saying true. He is the Democrat Speaker of the House. That will be proven if he uses the Democrats to vote this rule out of the committee today.
Well, also, if you're not going to be there to vote against it, if you're just going to fucking, I mean, we'll see if they actually show up or if they're just going to do it by, you know, stabbing out. Who gives a fuck? If he can't prove to his own party that this rule is necessary, I mean, all these guys are doing is just, it's a hostage rule. Again, what am I supposed to do here except eat popcorn and laugh?
So we're going to be watching very closely on that, Steve. But here's the facts. The American people don't want their money going to Ukraine.
Yeah, they do.
American people want an end to this war.
Right, but we don't want it to end with Ukraine being wiped out by the fucking Russians.
This money is being sucked up by so many different people and NGOs. You know, there's biolabs in Ukraine.
Fuck off. Of course there are. To stop wheat blight, you dumbass.
There is the ultimate corruption in Ukraine. The Biden family and all of their corrupt business deals.
You mean the stable democracy that was in existence in the last couple of years before Russia attacked?
And here it is. This is a war. This is what makes us all so sick. This is a war where every single day Ukrainian and Russian soldiers are dying.
Oh no, the soldiers are dying? Those soldiers? Where are they even finding the soldiers?
Every single day they're being murdered. And
they're not being murdered. It's a war. Ukrainian civilians are being murdered by Russia and raped and buried in shallow graves, and Ukrainian prisoners of war are being like castrated on camera by Russian soldiers. But whatever.
And here is our government, our disgusting government,
our disgusting government. Again, I gotta say, it's such an overreaction. It feels like she's just telling on herself. Right?
Trying to send more money over to that country to keep that war going, all with the claims of this helps the American economy. This is good for American jobs. Well, you want to know something? That is repulsive. That is repulsive. If this is the...
Yeah, great. Then vote against the defense reauthorization bill. Go for it. I don't want to hear shit about a $69 billion aid package for a country, an ally of ours that's at war and that was attacked unjustly. if you're not willing to pull the fucking trigger, pun intended, on not voting for the defense spending bill, why didn't you just not vote for it, stupid? If you're disgusted by that, and then anywhere we use our military clearly is an offense to you.
Way Washington, D.C. thinks our economy should be run. Our economy should be run by American businesses that put America first. We should be putting our critical supply chain first. Yeah, we want to support our military. We should be directly building up our military, not sending money and weapons over to foreign wars in order to so-called build up our military.
Yeah, that's not what anyone is saying. That's not what this supplemental is about. This is just super odd. Secondly, if Ukraine beats Russia, that saves the United States and Europe from having to do that fight later. We're literally, like, Ukraine is fucking Russia up on the cheap.
Lie. What a horrific lie. And this is all happening, Steve, this week when Monday was April 15th, tax day. The very day that the federal government required the American citizens to pay their taxes. What is Mike Johnson doing with their hard-earned money?
Will file their taxes, sure.
He's sending it over to Ukraine and funding foreign wars and funding Hamas terrorists who are still holding American and Israeli hostages in a hot war zone in Gaza. This is what Mike...
No. Food supplies are not funding Hamas. Making sure that people don't starve to death is one of the things you do to keep Hamas from getting a stronger hold already.
Johnson thinks his ultimate priority is to do as Speaker of the House. This is such a betrayal, and we are not going to tolerate it. We cannot tolerate it.
Well, you're going to have to tolerate it. Sorry. You're in a minority of your party, which barely has a majority, that it's about to lose because your running buddy, Matt Gaetz, is about to go to fucking jail.
Steve, I want you to know what's going to happen. If he changes the motion to vacate rule, it will require, we don't know the number yet, but it will require a lot more members of Congress to actually vote to vacate his speaker.
Yes, technically that is true. If he changes it from one to more than one, it will take more than one to do it. And you guys thought she couldn't do math.
And I don't know where we stand with that. But I would urge anyone that watches the War Room, you know the phone number to call, and you know exactly what you need to say.
Really? Do they?
We need high pressure up here on Congress. We need the United States representatives, the people you voted for, the people that you supported. They need to hear from you. They need to hear.
Oh, they heard from me, all right. They heard from me. I feel like my calls were actually heard. I made several of the calls on the air.
Hear exactly from you what they need to be doing. You know what, Steve? They're going to try to blame this entire thing on me. You and I both know how this works. But the whole...
Yeah, they're going to... Just because you did a motion to vacate in an election year after you already vacated the speaker and still got the same kind of bill you would have gotten with the other guy for no fucking reason because you don't have a supermajority and the vast majority of Americans don't agree with you and you live in a fucking right-wing bubble. Yeah, they're going to blame you. They're going to blame you.
The reason I came to Congress was because I was fed up with a Republican Party that...
No, you came to Congress because you were a QAnon nutcase that followed, like the scent of Trump's farts all the way to Washington.
Ever served the Republican voters. They write their letters, they do their 3 to 5 minute little speeches and say their talking points on Fox News.
Yeah, and they put forward their bills that they know have no chance of actually,
But they never follow through with action. And this is why Republican voters only trust President Trump, because President Trump actually...
I got news for you. A bunch of them have become independents, and the other ones who still call themselves Republicans, a lot of those voted for Nikki Haley.
Actually does what he says he's going to do.
Yeah, he totally, like Infrastructure Week and the new version of Obamacare, his healthcare plan. I don't know if you've read it. It's fucking amazing. Takes about 2 weeks to read, to start to read. 2 weeks. It'll be ready to read in like 2 weeks.
And the future of our Republican Party is very bleak.
I mean, good. Okay. I don't know. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Republicans in Congress can never follow through. When Republicans in Congress put America...
Pitiful. I'm starting to think it's better to be a Democrat because at least they get shit done. And, if you like, absolute power and, authoritarianism, then they obviously run big tech, big pharma, big industry, big woke corporations, which are all of them apparently. They know where they have all the money and all the weapons and all the everything. I don't even know why you would side with the Republicans at this point. I think it's just dangerous because they're such wusses.
To last in countries like Ukraine first. We aren't going to have a future Republican Party, Steve. We'll never...
Sorry, I was just enjoying that.
Win another election because we haven't given our voters anything to vote for. We have...
Somebody's been talking to Chip Roy.
Never stood and fought for them. We have...
Right, you've always fought for yourself, and you still are.
Never used the power of person in Congress to demand the destructive communist Democrats stop doing what they are doing. We have...
No, you didn't. What do you mean? Threaten to shut down the government to get the commie Democrats to stop doing what they're doing, which is what? Pass an infrastructure bill? Representative taxation? What's your problem?
Weak leadership here in Washington, Steve.
Yeah, the Republicans. I got to say, I'm with you, sister. A bunch of assholes. Just incredible. Not only, and I'll defer to you. You know more of them than I do. I mean, obviously weak, and untrustworthy. And, but I'm going to go with like stupid and like deluded, egomaniacal, foolhardy, vainglorious, hypocritical, sexist, bigoted shitheads. I don't want to. Obviously, I'll defer to you, a young lady.
And I am absolutely sick and tired of it. But
I would quit if I were you. Then that'll show them.
They're going to try to blame me, Steve. You watch it. They're going to try to blame.
No, they'll blame you if your motion actually goes to the floor and all that stuff. But they're not. But they don't give a fuck about you. They don't. I don't. Most people don't. It's just fun to watch you flail.
Marjorie Taylor Greene for actually trying to hold our Republican leaders, these weak...
Wait, so you saw me mentioned 2 times? Who mentioned me on MSNBC? That was lovely. Really? Oh, that's nice. They're mentioning me on MSNBC? That's good. Finally. Oh, that's sweet. Thanks, guys.
Men, hold them accountable. They're going to try to blame their losses on me, but I'll tell you right now, their losses are because of their feckless refusal to take action to stop the Democrats and stop them from destroying this country. I'm so fed up with the uniparty. I'm absolutely done with it, Steve. And
yeah, absolutely done. So that means you're quitting? No. It's a good paycheck. And if I quit, they might start looking into my PPP loans.
I hope everyone else is too.
No, they're not. By the way, you should quit. You should just, nothing will really show the Republicans. Like now, they don't have time to have a special election in your district. Just throw it to the Democrats and go, fuck these guys. I'll show you. I'm telling you, that would be terrible if you did that.
Congressman Green, I just have a question. I need.
He did it again. He fucking did it again. Did you hear that? Did you hear it? He does it all the time. Like, at some point, we're going to find out that Steve Bannon was like the deepest operative troll in all of MAGA. That he's gonna like peel off a fucking mask and it's going to be like, sick of wearing that fucking suit this whole time.
The uniparty. I'm absolutely done with it, Steve, and I hope everyone else is too.
Congressman Green, I just have a question.
Congressman Green.
I need to have answered to the War and Posse. We have Eli Crane, we have Matt Gaetz, and we have yourself.
So you've got Eli Crane.
That we would consider frontline patriots.
Uh-huh. What would be the qualifications that their relationships when they started this either were non-existent or fell apart, that they are known philanderers, that this one cucked her husband at the health club that she hung out at, so much so that her new boyfriend makes her work out in the garage because he doesn't trust her going to the fucking gym by herself without a camera present. And then Matt Gaetz is just run us through the ethics charges against him.
Has anyone in any briefing that you've seen, because Johnson came out today that he's concerned about the Balkans falling and Poland falling and a third world war starting with Russian tanks rolling across the North German plain and all this kind of bizarro language that was appropriate maybe before President Reagan took down the Soviet Empire. Have you or Matt Gaetz? Yeah,
it's been harmless ever since. That's the thing about the Russians. They have not done anything to fuck with anybody since 91. I don't know why everybody's picking on them all of a sudden, except for, what they did in Chechnya and Georgia and Ukraine and what they've been doing in Somalia and Chad and Uganda and Nigeria and,
Sir, Eli Crane. 3 people who people say, okay, I hear it, I trust them. Have you guys seen anything that leads this to, this is Johnson's Churchill moment, ma'am?
Yeah, that's such an insult to Churchill, isn't it?
It totally is.
I mean, my God, that's repulsive.
Yeah, it is repulsive. Repulsive? Repulsive.
Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill.
Repulsive.
No, here's the real truth. We've never been shown anything, no evidence whatsoever that Vladimir Putin in Russia is planning to go marching across Europe, that he's just like Adolf Hitler. We have.
What are you talking about? They talk about it on television. State TV says so. They brag about it. They want, that's all they talk about, dum-dum. Any evidence? What the fuck?
Never been shown any proof. And I stood up at conference earlier this week, Steve, and I asked for that proof. I said, where is the proof? Has anyone in this room seen proof?
Yes, anyone who watches the clips that Julia Davis pulls from 60 Minutes or like channel number 1 in Russia.
This is what Putin is going to do. And no one could answer me. No one said a word except.
No, I think they were probably laughing.
One member of Congress came and told me, Marjorie, there is no proof. And that is the reality. They never show proof. What they do is they pull men like Mike Johnson and others in a room and they just tell them scary stories of, oh, if you don't do this, if you don't send this money over to Ukraine,
there'll be another Bucha, and we've already had one, and Russia says they're going to do it again, and they've only kidnapped 60,000 children.
You do not take these votes and make this happen. People are going to die. Well,
yes, they already are.
Let me tell you something, Steve. People are dying every single day.
Right, and they shouldn't have to, because there should be air defense and soldiers with bullets in their rifles that can protect those people.
Right here in America. And those are the people that should matter.
Oh, I see. Right. We have police officers, and then we have Border Patrol, and you voted against the border bill.
And that's what our actions in Congress should be doing to protect those people. That's where Americans' tax dollars should be spent.
Right. But again, you don't seem to have this problem, I think, with Israel in this regard. Or maybe you do. And you certainly, I guess you're shrugging off the expenditure to Taiwan. That seems to be a bigger flashpoint, technically, if China decided they want that property, right? Wouldn't that be equal to what you're saying? And yet, somehow, that you're fine with. It's odd. Is it because Russia pays and China doesn't? Is it because Russia backed the NRA and China didn't?
That is where our American military's focus should be. At the southern border, fighting the narco cartels who have waged war on America and are waging it right now every single day. The cartels are murdering Americans.
Yeah, but they also view those people as customers. They don't want to murder them. That's an issue with the intensity of the product.
Not Russians. The cartels are doing it. But we have all these men in Washington.
Oh, this is, by the way, this is the same argument made look, Jews in America are safe. just because they're killing Jews in Europe. That's not our business.
Washington, these weak men that beat their chest, constantly beating their chest of, oh, they're going to go fight the Russians, like it's some kind of Hollywood movie, but they don't do anything to protect Americans. Nothing.
Well, they had a bill that is the most like conservative border bill that has been presented in years, and you voted against it. That's something. It's not nothing. You can disagree with it. You can say it didn't go far enough, but it's not nothing. You voted against it. Also, can I just say for the record, yes, Water Goddess, excellent point you're making, as are others. She is really angry. And that's a good thing. Anytime we're in a situation where Marjorie Taylor Greene is this upset, it's a good sign. It's good. So you can absorb that for a second. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how shitty she feels right now? Do you think she thought in early 2020, or even May or June of 2020, when Biden was going to be the nominee, do you think she thought a couple of years from now she was going to be talking like this on Steve Bannon's fucking podcast?
They sell America out every single day. No, Steve, they don't have proof. They haven't shown us 1 ounce of proof. The only proof that they have shown us is that they clearly hate America. I just want to be,
when you
the only proof is that they clearly hate America. That's why they presented the most conservative border bill in decades, and you voted it down.
When you threw that challenge down in front of the conference, Mike McCall did not step up and show you. You know, Mike McCall's on TV every second of every day. Mike McCall did not stand up and meet your challenge.
By the way, where the fuck is he? Is he live at a Denny's? What is happening? Honest to God, this looks like the buffet was closed, so the hotel allowed him to do his show in the cafeteria as long as he's done by dinner.
And show you proof. I just want to be sure of that.
No one showed me proof. And you know what? I'm going to issue a challenge to Mike McCall and Mike Johnson and everyone. If you have proof that Vladimir Putin is going to march across Europe, going to go all the way to Kiev, take Poland next, and then keep on.
First of all, okay, hold on one second. Just ballpark real quick. Former Soviet Union countries are our territory, a Russian academic says, and this is on that show. This is on their late night talk show, on their Sean Hannity game show fucking thing they do. Let's see, but the Daily Beast, Julia Davis, who is doing this stuff. There's Putin with all these flags, looking at them wantingly. Said that former territories of the Russian Empire and of the Soviet Union are Russia's territories that Moscow should unilaterally control. Davis wrote in a caption in the clip. Sardarian, a political science professor, said no other nation should even question Moscow about the idea that former Soviet states should be considered Russian territory. Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Estonia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, Russia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Ukraine, and Uzbekistan are all theirs. And then they'll move on to what their original agreement with Germany was. This is just fucking dumb. They talk about this all the time. This is like national television.
Unclassify it. Declassify that proof and show it to the American people. Prove to the American.
Also, by the way, this is a bluff as well, because proving what Vladimir Putin is going to do next. This is the same talk we heard when they were going to attack Ukraine, and people were like, we don't think they're going to attack Ukraine. We have no proof they're going to attack Ukraine. Okay, if they have proof somebody's going to attack, then the attack is worthless. Yes, right, exactly. It doesn't work that way, Mr. Webb. That's right, in the chat room. There's no such thing of proof of a preemptive strike. If there was, You'd always beat it, dumb fuck.
People, why they need to send their hard-earned money over there. Prove it. I dare you to prove it.
Well, we don't have to, by the way, we're not sending our hard-earned money over to Ukraine just because Russia wants to move into Poland next and all that stuff. It's because they're trying to fucking wipe out the Ukrainians. TYT tried to prove Russia would not attack Ukraine. Yeah, I saw that too. Hamas Abi said the exact same thing. They're not going to do it. This is all bullshit. He had like a little clock going about that it was going to run until it ran out, and then he was like, "Oh, I guess they are gonna. I guess Joe Biden was right." I'm kidding. He never said that. It just happened, and then they acted like they said that they hadn't said what they said.
Because you do not have the proof.
Again, nobody has proof of a preemptive strike until it's too fucking late, dummy.
And they're not capable of showing it, Steve.
Yeah, okay. Prove to me that the caravans that are heading north towards the border are not planning on stopping in southern Mexico. Prove to me that everybody in those caravans is planning on entering the United States. Prove it. Just because other people did doesn't mean they are. If I see a caravan walking up from Guatemala, who the fuck says? Even if they say, I'm going to America, show me the proof that they're actually going to do it. I don't care what they say. Show me proof that Canada isn't going to attack us from the north. Like, again, this is fucking dumb.
This is the biggest, most repulsive scam, and it's been happening for decades, and it's all they claim to protect.
Wait, hold on. What's been happening for decades? Russia attacking Ukraine has been happening for over a decade.
American jobs and to keep the military-industrial base going and employed.
Okay, it's military-industrial complex, not the military-industrial base. Don't you have fucking... Isn't there a base in her district or near there?
And it's all for our economy. This is not an economy any...
Also, no one is making that argument. I don't, like... I know people around her might be making that. I think that sounds like a Republican talking point to get people to shut up within their conference. But everybody else is doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Anybody wants. We don't want an economy built on people's blood and dead bodies in foreign countries.
Right, which is what you have if you allow people to die when you can help because your funding priorities are a tax cut, for example. That's an economy built on dead bodies and blood. Instead of doing what you could in the world to save people's lives, you decided to give a tax break to your fellow Republican, millionaire maggots. That is an economy built on blood. You could have helped, but, you'd rather, have a fucking fish delight and cover Trump's bills.
We want an America first economy, and from now on, Steve...
Well, then why'd you vote against the CHIPS Act? Seriously, what was the controversy about the CHIPS Act that you couldn't vote for it? If you're an America first person, that should have been an easy fucking vote. Right? Do we have a maggot in the chat room right now that would like to explain this to me? Why would any of the MAGA Republicans, or the alleged America First crowd, why would any of them not vote for the CHIPS Act, the Chips and Science Act? What is it? What would be the reason to allow China to have a leg up in advanced technologies, or to continue to steal our advanced technologies, or break intellectual property rules, or allow the people that work in the United States Defense Department to then go work for a business that works in China that's linked to that? Why would you allow that to happen? Why would you want that at all? She's, and some people are saying because Trump wants it that way. She's allegedly against Trump about Mike Johnson right now. And this isn't even about Russia at this point. You could just pretend to fucking give a shit about China and vote for it. What was it? What was in the Chips and Science Act that was so repulsive to Marjorie Taylor Greene or any of those fuckers? I have no idea why that wasn't 100%. No idea. It makes no fucking sense. Why was the percentage of the votes in the House different than the percentage of the votes in the Senate? Like somebody fucking it. Like infrastructure maybe just felt like it went to the wrong places and whatever. Oh, I understand that, Doc in Paradise. I think you're absolutely right. They didn't want to give Dems a win. But that's not America first. And what that means is they just didn't want to, they cared more about not giving the Dems a win than they cared about the country. So they're party first at the base. And in that regard, the way she shits on the party, she's really Trump first over her party. But that's not just her. I'm trying to figure out if we have a maggot anywhere that can explain this. What was in the Chips and Science Act that you would be against? What was it? What was in the border bill? What was in the border bill that made the situation worse? Because every standard, even if you thought it didn't go far enough, was better than the status quo. So why wouldn't you just vote for that and then say it's not enough? Because I honest to God, I think the big fear around the border bill is that it would have been enough. It would have solved the problem. It scared the fuck out of them that it would actually be a solution. Which is why when Democrats take the House and they still have Senate and the presidency, they're going to pass it and that'll be that. But I gotta say, I still don't understand their justification. I've read. I mean, the Chips and Science Act was one of my favorite bills that got passed, obviously, because I'm named after a computer and it's important. And it's, you know, I'm your human AI liaison. That's what my first name stands for. I can't figure it out. I've read everything they've said about it. I don't even fucking think they know. I know they don't. I know she doesn't, for fuck's sake. There's no fucking way she could justify why she voted against the Chips and Science Act. Flat out. So I don't want to hear any America First bullshit. She can't even justify why she voted against the border bill, other than it's not enough. Well, progress is progress. And what makes her different from the fucking TYT crowd with this whole, like, if we don't get everything, nobody gets anything bullshit. You can't pretend you're for progress or moving the ball down the field or actually putting America first if you're like, if I don't get everything I want, fuck America. Because that's what Trump is about, and that's what she's about.
We are going to demand it from our Republican leaders. I don't care.
You're not going to demand shit. You don't have the votes, dum-dum. You fucking twit. You don't have the votes. No matter what, you could scream to fucking high heaven, you don't have the votes. And if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, go back to the House, walk across the aisle, and start talking to somebody about Medicare for all. Because I'm sure these dumb motherfuckers will, on your side will sit there and commiserate with people that don't have the votes to pass that either. Tough shit. The question is, do you want to help people or not? If you think it's my way or the highway, and anybody who would die in the interim can go fuck themselves, then I don't believe you. I don't believe your ethics. If you're looking at someone having a heart attack and going, if they don't get an exercise plan, I'm not doing CPR on them, fuck you. You don't care about their health. You're just selling your exercise plan. And it doesn't help them if they die in the interim.
The Speaker's office becomes a revolving door. If that's exactly what needs to happen, then let it be. But
let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of dumbass, let it be.
The days are over of the old Republican Party that wants to
That's true.
fund foreign wars and murder people in foreign lands while
murder people in, listen to this dipshit. Murder people in foreign lands? Hey, fuckwad, the Russians aren't in their country. You do know that, right? So us killing German camp guards at Auschwitz in fucking Poland was American soldiers and Republicans killing, innocent people in foreign lands? Good fucking God.
They stabbed the American people in their face and
I mean, if you've been saying stab in the back so much that you're tired of it, I mean, where do you go? Where do you go? In their face. Well, at least they saw it coming, I guess. You know. It's so stupid.
Refuse to protect Americans and fix our problems over here.
You didn't vote for the border bills. You have no room to speak.
We had Gavin Wax up in, he was in Harlem when President Trump, in a Democratic stronghold. He said it'd be 90.
In a Democratic stronghold, surrounded by the New York Young Republicans Club, who literally gathered the crowd. You think that bodega is just famous in Harlem? You think people just, oh shit, they're putting the rails up. It must be like free Pop-Tarts.
9-1 against any money to Ukraine, with some money going to Harlem. Be 99, but this is a hardcore Democratic base. Said no.
What? First of all, wait. Republicans are against any money going to Harlem. Fuck you. But let's put all this America First bullshit up on a shelf at the bodega, and the conversation about Ukraine aside. Do you think Republicans are going to vote to help the economically disadvantaged people in Harlem? Are you out of your fucking mind? You think that's the choice? You think Trump's going to roll in and pay off people with the Clinton enterprise zones, just renaming them economic zones and then just shuffling the money somewhere else to his fucking Republican donors? You don't think that's what's going to happen?
Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill.
What?
Interest whatsoever in Ukraine. We just had Todd Bensman on the border in South Texas. He said Rio Grande Valley, South Texas, zero interest of citizens down there in Ukraine. They want the border protected. What?
Yeah, why don't you just go around and find one issue voters in specific? Why don't you go? How about this? How about go interview people who've just been through a fucking tornado in Missouri and ask them how they feel about climate change legislation? How about that?
What do you have to say to that when you see the American people responding to President Trump?
Okay, first of all, you're talking about people who own private land on the border of Mexico and do not allow the federal government to build the wall on their land. And then bitch that people are walking around the edge of Trump's fucking wall because he built an access road on both sides of it, one for patrols and the other for construction. And now people who used to have to climb hills and go up like steep embankments that were slippery and never could get up that high can now just walk to the fucking end of it and walk right around. The wall made it worse, you dumbass. And these people you're talking to, a good portion of them own land that that the wall doesn't extend onto. Yeah.
The America First message, yet Republicans like Johnson continue to go to the elites playbook, the globalist elites playbook, and try to...
The globalist elites playbook. It's adorable. Are you just trying to ring her QAnon bell? Is that what this is? Is he just trying to, like, flick her into saying lizard people?
Force more funding for this war.
Everything you said is the absolute truth, and I know it, and that's why I issued a motion to vacate, because I knew the people would support me.
Also, real quick, how big is that fucking chair? Or are you kneeling on the floor in front of it? Who were you blowing right before this happened? What is that?
Not this.
I'm not kidding. What? Seriously, what kind of Cruella de Vil HGTV bullshit is going on?
Town, not Washington, D.C. No, they don't support me. The people support me because I'm doing exactly what they want me to do. And this is why they support President Trump. It's a...
Hey, dum-dum. Win a statewide election and then try to win a nationwide election. Then you can talk about the fucking people. You have a district. You answer to the people in your district. You won it 60-40 because it's hard right. That's not impressive. You don't have 100% support in your own fucking district, so I don't want to hear it that you have 100% support in the House where you have a one-vote fucking majority.
1,000% right. They don't want their money going to some foreign war. They want their money and the military troops and the Border Patrol and ICE and our federal government defending the United States of America.
Well, then why? Then is that why they're yelling at you for not voting for the border bill, which would have raised funding, gotten more agents, had more equipment down there, including equipment that can look through trucks and see if there's human beings in them, or know the chemical compounds that are inside the truck for both national security and for drug trafficking?
Because that is their actual job. It's constitutional. And what this government is doing to the American people is
terrible. It's just terrible. It's what they're doing. Okay.
Treason. It is.
It is. It's so such treason, where they put forward a bill that's not everything that I want and force me to vote against it. I mean, what in the ever-loving hell? How is this even? How can they sleep at night?
Absolute treason. In this foreign aid bill that Mike Johnson is trying to get through rules right now with his little brand new motion to vacate rule attached to it, do you know what's in there?
What's in there?
There is money, billions and billions of dollars that's going to be given to Gaza. Well, you want to know something?
No, there isn't billions and billions of dollars going to Gaza. There's millions of dollars in food aid to Gaza. There's over there's a couple of $1 billion for Israel. There's a few $1 billion.
Hamas is the elected government of Gaza. So
right, but that's not the children's fault. But I'm sorry, yeah, I interrupted you. You were being pro-life.
You were giving money to Gaza, claiming that you're helping innocent people in a war zone. No, you're not. You're helping terrorists who are holding.
I feel terrible. I was silly me. I was all for like meals being dropped in areas where civilians were gathered. What was I thinking? I feel bad, guys. That's it. I'm shutting the show down. I can't do it anymore. That's it. I can't face myself. Not fucking. I can. Yeah, I can. I'm totally fine. I'm
American and Israeli.
Thought about it for a second, and I was like, you know what? I take it back.
Hostages. That is treason. Giving aid and comfort to your enemies.
Yeah, no. The aid is is going to the civilians, so that they know we're not the bad guys in this, and also the nobody's comfortable in that area. No one is comfortable. Yeah, I guess. Well, it depends on your definition of comfort. I suppose there's some Hamas people who are comfortable, raping and murdering people that they have there, or killing their own, shooting up their own aid trucks and stealing stuff. Those people are probably, they find a certain level of psychotic comfort, but I even wouldn't call it that. Certainly isn't because of us, and they wouldn't need us to feel that
treason.
way.
So this entire foreign aid bill, by definition of our laws and our Constitution, is committing treason by.
No, it really isn't.
Doing so. But when you.
No, it isn't at all. It's so not.
You talk about the border. This government is in a partnership with the cartels, Steve. The cartels that are committing human trafficking, drug trafficking, and murdering.
You know what? She's starting to get to me. I think this sounds reasonable.
Americans every single day.
Right, obviously. And so that's what they, it's just that Texans love drugs, and so do people in Arizona, I guess. And they love just drugs. And they're, so obviously the Biden administration is going, well, you got to give the people what they want. They're trying to buy votes in Texas by letting drugs. It's terrible. I can't believe it.
Every day, their drugs and their illegal alien crime is murdering Americans. And this government here will not protect them. It's not.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're in the government and you wouldn't vote for the border bill. So why don't you just say, I wouldn't? Just say, just do it. Just take responsibility and say, and I wouldn't protect them. I wouldn't protect these assholes. I think there are too many people in America. Just go ahead and say it. And it'll be so much easier on you if you do. You'll feel the burden will be lifted off. You don't have to. I think partly why you're so angry is because you're having to, couch and use everything you're saying and use, I guess, dog whistle kind of phrases and stuff. Just let it go. Just tell everybody. Just say there should only be a certain kind of white person in the country, and everybody else should be, like, basically wiped out by the drugs that are coming across, or be murdered. And you only get upset when certain people are murdered, and other people, unless they're politically advantageous to use their death to help you, you really don't give a rat fuck about them. Just say it. You'll feel so much better. It's just like, because On my show, I get to say what I feel, and some people don't necessarily like what I say sometimes. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, you're right. Some people don't like what I'm saying, but I say it anyways because I'm, I don't want to feel like, oh, I had pinched, I had to lie to get through the day. That's got to suck. No wonder you're upset. That in your reflection.
Not protecting the American people, throw them out. That's
Hi, stupid. You do realize you're the party that's losing seats right now. We don't have to throw you out. Your guys are quitting.
That's what our Constitution says. Throw them all out. Throw all.
No, it doesn't actually say throw them all out in the Constitution. I've read it, and I don't remember that phrase. I mean, it's a little modern vernacular.
All of us out, for that matter.
Did she just say throw all of us out, for that matter? Hold on, whoops. Why does that jump in there? What did she just? Like, she just wants to out. She's done.
Protecting the American people, throw them out. That's what our Constitution says. Throw them all out. Throw all of us out, for that matter.
Yeah. Finally, I like the Raskins of the world. Ted Lieu is in my district in California. So I don't have to throw them all out or whatever. But I'm totally fine with throwing out all the Republicans. Is that what you need? I mean, look, the only way the Republican Party is going to save itself is if it has the come to Jesus moment. And so we've got to vote them all out, right? And she's right. Like, you're right. Just for your own good, you and everybody around you, and especially, the Freedom Caucus folks, should be kicked to the fucking curb. That'll show the rhinos.
MTG, the number's 202-224.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Where can people reach you on your social medias, your socially media things or whatever? By the way, can we show you another person who's upset? We'll just enjoy the fact. Ladies and gentlemen, Chip Roy, another bullshit cowboy. He used to be an aide to Ted Cruz, I think, and then he ran for office. He represents, the area of Austin that's so fucking down home and cowboy that it has the biggest mall in the area in it. Yeah. So this is him. They're going to package this all together and jam it through the Senate. Well, they don't have to jam it through the Senate because the Senate, most of the Republicans there would like to be reelected statewide and understand that they have to represent a greater group than just this shitty little fiery districts that they're in, these red hot districts that they're in. So they've got to convince other people that they're worth a fuck, not just the hardcore, Republican version of the Branch Davidians. So there he is.
Of the great state of Texas, Congressman Roy, what in the hell's going on? Have we blocked this yet or not?
Where the hell are they? First of all, I had no idea that Mike Pillow has been under the desk at Bannon's studio this whole time, and that they are joined at the appendix.
Well, Steve, great to be on. Thanks for all those great
Is it though?
Patriots out there. Thanks for what you do, bringing the truth out there, because
ass kisser.
We can't stop the nonsense here without the people.
You can't stop anything. You don't have the votes. You are the nonsense. It's watch I Am well, not the movie. Go read the book I Am Legend, and you'll realize that, oh shit, I've been the monster the whole time.
What we're seeing unfold right now is obviously, unfortunately.
I don't know. Yeah, I was just saying, agree to disagree.
The Speaker Johnson.
By the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks. And also just thank you guys for sharing and liking and subbing and all that kind of stuff. Bless you.
Is advancing legislation that the vast majority of the people that I represent, I guarantee you everybody in that room, oppose.
Yes, because it is a tiny little gathering of fucking psychopaths. Yeah. And also, the majority of the people in your district might, but you don't even represent fucking downtown Austin.
It's legislation that will...
If you did, they'd have kicked you to the curb for this shit a long time ago, and that's in fucking Texas.
Fund Ukraine. It will fund Israel. It will fund Taiwan at $95 billion. It has $9 billion that can go to Hamas and Gaza and through the humanitarian assistance. It has...
food or some shit, medicine, which is obviously commie and gay.
$8 billion that can go sit at Ukraine's government for them to use for whatever.
Right. So you mean stuff so that Russia doesn't have to know exactly where it's going, so you can't send up a fucking signal flare and go, hey, we figured out here's where all the money's going, so you guys know how to defend yourself, and you could just fucking call them up and let them know, so they're keeping it on the DL or allowing them to spend it how they need so that Russia doesn't get a heads up from assholes like you.
It's not lethal aid. All of that without securing the border one iota.
You voted against the border bill. Fuck off.
The speaker tells everybody, hey.
By the way, I don't know if you know this, and people who haven't read the border bill, but there was more than one iota of support for a strong border in that bill. I'm just saying. It was whatever your threshold is, if you think it's not enough or you think it's too much or whatever, it was definitely more than an iota, as iotas go. It was a buttload of iotas.
I'm going to give everybody a vote. Well, that's nonsense.
Yeah, what kind of bullshit? Everybody gets a vote. What is this, America?
Really is a prepackaged effort to deliver the Senate Democrat bill. There's a reason that Joe Biden has said he supports it. There's a reason Chuck Schumer,
because it's the right thing to do,
has been bragging about the bill on the Senate floor.
Because it's the right thing to do.
So last night we had a rule.
It's an election year. You do realize that that if it was the wrong thing to do and it was unpopular, and Biden wouldn't sign it more than likely. If you're saying it's a crass political decision, he wouldn't sign it and push it through and brag about it during an election year. They would kind of, if anything, they would try to do it under the radar, right? Schumer wouldn't be bragging about it and Biden wouldn't be talking about how important it is. They just kind of, right? But apparently they think it's a good idea, and the vast majority of the American people also agree.
Separate rule. I want to be very clear. It's very clear. You got a smart audience. We had
Are they at home? Are you talking about a live stream where people watch this like I do? Hey, they're talking about me. He's talking about me. The smart audience. He means me. Mm-hmm.
2 rules, okay?
2 rules. Got it. 1, go. Rule number 1, go. Rule number 2, fuck yourself. I think those are the 2 rules, as I understand them.
We had a rule last night to bring forward another version of H.R. 2, our great border bill that conservatives fought for last year.
The one that won't clear the Senate.
They wanted to put that on the floor, watering down and taking out the conservative E-Verify piece and inserting some other provision.
Which is because the E-Verify part is unpaid for.
They did that, and so Thomas Massey, Chip Roy, and Ralph Norman, we objected. So we killed.
They objected to their own bill coming to the floor because it had one provision removed that they didn't want to pay for. And so they thought, throw the baby out with the fucking bathwater. If it's a great bill, you could, I guess in theory, remove half of it and it would still be better than the status quo, wouldn't it?
That rule,
they voted against their own fucking bill. It's just stupid. Yeah, HR 2 is ridiculous.
Objected because it was a part of the sham.
That's why you did. Mm-hmm. You can't fucking solve it in any sense during an election year because if though God forbid Biden signs it.
It's the first time that's happened in a long time.
No, it isn't. You guys do this shit all the time. It's either performative bullshit bills or you vote down your own shit because it's not draconian enough.
And that lit a fuse, and now they're all calling for us to be kicked off the committees, and they're calling for the rules to be changed. And we're all saying, whatever. I mean, make our day, right? We're going to keep fighting.
Then step down. Fight from your own district and make your case, but get the fuck out of the way. If you don't want to be on the rules committee and you're like, fine, kick me off, have the guts to leave. Resign the rules committee because they're changing the rules and you don't want to be a part of it. Resign. Otherwise, you're a fucking weakling. This is all just blather. You can't bitch about Mike Johnson wanting to maintain power, right? If you won't fucking quit.
Today, we've got the rule that we went.
Well, I take that back. They will quit in effort. They won't vote for stuff or they won't show up, which is quitting without leaving. They're just like, they still want the paycheck and the status, but they don't want to do the job. Again, this is a constant running theme with these dumb motherfuckers.
I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
Mm-hmm.
We had a debate on, there's, I don't know, a couple hundred amendments that have been filed, I think. And some of them are
couple of hundred amendments.
Good amendments. They're going through.
Some of them are good. Really? A couple of hundred amendments to these short spending bills. I got to say, if there are a couple of hundred amendments on bills like this, it sounds like you guys are trying to scuttle them with bureaucracy. It sounds like, dear God, big government to me. It sounds like you guys are trying to kill these bills by tying up time instead of actually being able to convince people that you're right.
But I'm not being invited to the normal discussion about the amendments because I've already...
Because they want it to be a normal discussion and you are abnormal?
Already publicly said I'm going to oppose this rule.
Right, so why would they discuss? If you've already made up your mind, why would you be part of the discussion? Discussion's over. You've staked out a binary position. Once you stake out a binary position, you serve no value in the conversation. People can simply go, Chip Roy is against it, and that's that. They don't give a fuck why. They know why.
And so have Ralph, and so have Thomas.
Ralph.
We oppose the rule. A lot of Republicans oppose the rule.
Not enough.
Freedom Caucus took an unusual, first time ever, I think, official position opposing a rule today, which...
The rule that would not give them more power than they have earned?
Means you got a large number of the Freedom Caucus that will vote no.
A large, not the whole... Sorry. Am I to understand the Freedom Caucus took a position and not all the members of the Freedom Caucus are on board? They couldn't... Wait. You motherfuckers couldn't get unanimity in the Freedom Caucus? Why is that not news? What? Yeah, what are there? How many people are in the Freedom Caucus? I mean, they kicked out Marge, right? What is it, 18 now? You couldn't get 18 of these motherfuckers to agree
on the rule. So now Mike is apparently, the speaker, I should say, trying to go get Democrat votes, which is unusual.
Right, but not, it's not never done. It's often required in a democracy.
On the floor and possibly in the committee.
Also, can I just say for the record, he shouldn't even have to, it shouldn't even have to be news that he's, coming to a consensus with the other party to pass things. That shouldn't be weird at all. The Popular People's Front. I thought we were the Popular People's Front. No, he's over there. Splitter!
To move the rule through. We're on recess, on break right now, trying to figure out what's going to happen.
Wait, you're on break? Really? So, sorry, we interrupted your juice box, I guess?
Hold it, I just want to make sure I got this right.
Pretty sure you don't.
Because you and Ralph Norman and Tom Massey said you're opposed.
3 out of 500 people.
You're not even in the room right now looking at the amendment. Something normally the Rules Committee would be doing. You've been kind of banned on this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overstate it, but we're very actively involved in trying to figure out which amendment.
They left. They weren't kicked out. Shut the fuck up. No. We're not going to fucking create this kind of like, oh my God, there's been a turnover and shit. These dumb motherfuckers left.
Should be brought forward under the rules and germaneness and all that stuff. And my staff is actively involved. And, we pinged them about an hour ago and we said, hey guys, what's up with the amendments? And they said, what do you mean about the bill that you guys are already opposing the rule? So they're over there making their own decisions on that. They'll follow the basic rules about germaneness and whether they're appropriate and all that. But the real issue is that they're working this.
Right. You just won't. You've taken your fucking deflated testicle of a ball and gone back to your office to like, I'll show them. I'm going to go sit in my fucking office and bitch to Steve Bannon at some like rando, it's not even a mega church. Like what's a half a mega church? A mini church? A MAGA church?
To prepackage it, regardless of the amendments that get through. They know how the votes will shake out, and you'll...
Right, and they don't need you, so why should they have to even deal with you? You've staked out your position, you're gonna lose, and the only thing you can do is whine.
Get a modified version of what the Senate already passed.
What impact did President Trump, in the middle of this court case, this kangaroo court, for him to have the presence of mind to send something out on Truth Social that says no?
the presence of mind to send something out on Truth Social. Jason Miller runs that shit.
Nobody speaks for him. What kind of impact? Because that was kind of a shot across Johnson's bow.
No, it wasn't. He just had him down. He doesn't care. He has no position. You goofy fuck.
What kind of impact did that have?
A huge impact. I mean, God bless.
Yeah, huge.
The former president, he's sitting there between frickin' like jury pools getting selected in New York by this radical DA, which is completely unlawful, a complete violation of norms, stretching a.
It isn't though, but sure.
Federal crime into a state crime. It's all a sham. We all get all that. And the president.
Okay, hold on. We've got it. We have a defensive. Hold on. We got somebody who's defensive in the MAGA world. I think is this going to pop up in there? That's a lot. Come on, Hal. You have spent the whole evening making me think that the GOPs who represent some of us and are partially run our government are actually a bunch of fucking morons, but that can't be so. They are the grand party. Oh, I see. You're being ironic. I see. So I ask you, I think if you think like Trump, would your actions be seen as election interference? You are being mean to Trump after all. Trump's team is literally arguing in court right now to declare that being required to go to court to answer for potential crimes is election interference. Excellent point, Doc. I'm sorry. I misread that. I thought you were defending... yes, who, oh who, why, oh why, take me in, oh tender woman, take me in on your bosom. Who will speak for Trump? This bald fuck, actually, if you want to know.
Take the time, breaking between all of that nonsense.
Yeah, you need a break sometimes. You need a juice box and a sit down.
To make this statement is really important.
Yeah, I don't know. What the fuck do I know? I've just been standing all day doing my fucking show. And tonight after this, I'm going to go to dinner with my girl, and then we're going to go see her show at because she's got to take care of some stuff there. So I'm going to go see her show again at the Virgin Casino because I love her and I love her show, and I'm very proud of her. How do you like that?
He believes, as I do, that sure, there's a world in which you could figure out making sure there's appropriate lethal aid. If they're actually lethal aid. But I want everybody out there in the audience to remember.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that to Marge.
The $113 billion, I want to repeat, the $113 billion that's already been appropriated for Ukraine.
Over the course of 2.5 years almost.
Only 44 to 47 billion of that, two different reports I've seen, is lethal aid.
No. Bullshit. There is direct stuff that we've given them. There's Lend-Lease of that 119. Some of that is included in Lend-Lease. And helping people, by the way, just the support structure of food and all that kind of stuff in there is a worthwhile thing anyways. But the direct payments for them to buy the stuff they need, stuff we don't have, but that they use because they have a different, using AK-47s and the like, or whatever systems they're using, that or European artillery systems that use a different kind of ammunition than we have. That would be to purchase that because we don't make it ourselves. And then some of it is made here, so we pay for that to be made so that it can be sent to them.
So what was the other 66 to 69 billion dollars for?
Well, first of all, if you read it, you will see that it's discretionary in some places, but it's specifically towards stuff that is made and spent here and given to them. In some cases, by the way, we're taking $10 billion, paying for stuff that is being made here, and giving it to them on a Lend-Lease program where they will pay us back whenever they win and can, and therefore it's not even money going out the door, it's a loan in that for all practical purposes. Same thing we did with Europe during World War II and specifically with England. So that's a big portion of it as well. So, yeah.
If they had held that back and used it responsibly, then maybe they'd still have money to come.
What the fuck are you talking about? They are fighting a country that has a yearly budget of more than that and has been building up for this attack for a decade.
Come over and try to buy the stuff they need. I want to get into the details in terms of classified stuff, but the stuff that they need to continue to fight. So, that's what they did. And so now we're trying to be...
Okay, he's talking around this because he's in his district, especially in Texas, he's for this. This is Chip Roy being for something while trying to pretend he's against it for the sake of Donald Trump and others or certain groups of maggots that'll yell at him or even fucking Steve Bannon.
Responsible. We want to secure the border. We're, as the president is, look.
By the way, this vote is going to go through tomorrow, and so we're just enjoying watching this asshole be miserable.
I'll listen to you on what you need for lethal aid. We don't want to see Putin march through Kyiv, but you aren't putting
excuse me, have you talked to Marge?
America first, and you aren't being responsible for the money. So the president exactly.
Neither are you. You voted against the border bill.
Right. Don Jr. is exactly right.
That's said no one ever.
This is a complete capitulation by the speaker. It's completely irresponsible. And we.
No, it is completely responsible because you are only able to respond to this level, so you respond to the amount that you can actually respond, not live in some sort of vaporware fantasy idea of how the world works, like you and Don Jr. do.
You know, he basically got set up last fall because we were fighting the establishment here, and now.
No, you weren't. You weren't fighting the establishment. You're fighting your own party, dum-dum. You were wrestling with yourself.
Now he's walking away. He walked away.
It's like a movie. It's like an old horror movie from the where they're like, what have I been doing?
On FISA, how on earth can the speaker pass one of the tie-breaking votes to prevent us from having a warrant with respect to FISA?
Because you already have a warrant for an allowance for you to look into foreign communications, and you shouldn't need a warrant for the emails that somebody sends to a criminal if they're being watched. And it's such a narrow group of people. There's 8 billion people on the earth, and there's only about 250,000 people that are under the FISA thing, that you just happen to be sending them multiple emails, and they still, to use it against you in court, they still have to actually get a warrant for anything inside the United States. They just don't have to get a warrant to look at the stuff that's in that dude's inbox. So why should the United States government need a warrant to look at stuff that Vladimir Putin can look at without one? Why should the U.S. government need a warrant to look at stuff that Hamas fighters or the Iranian Republican Guard or fucking terrorist organizations all over the world can look at for free without any limitations? What Chip Roy is saying is that the U.S. government, who has already made the case that it needs to look into the emails of these folks because they're a danger to U.S. citizens, that what Chip Roy is saying is that Vladimir Putin should have more access to communications than our government does.
It makes no sense.
It makes all the sense in the world. Am I really sure the vote will go through? Yes, I am.
Real quickly, what is your marching orders here for the War Room Posse today?
Get fucked.
Yeah, I mean, just make sure every single congressman that you all.
They only. What are you talking about? They're only the people that are there are only represented by locals to that area. It's not like a fucking genuine spattering across the aisle. And the only person they're going to call is either Mike Johnson, and he's getting it from both sides, so it will never balance out the way they want it to. Or they're going to call somebody like him or Marge, who are already on the team. They're just going to go, I know, click. Oh, God, it's so wonderfully over. All right, now let me see if I can do one last thing before. There we go there. Yeah, this business. And we're done with Chip Roy. Yeah, we're there's so much to cover, but I've gone a half hour over already because of these dipshits. And but let me grab one little, because I feel like we'll just do a slice of this because I'm really enjoying the misery. Can I just tell you, while we're having a diet of feasting on the misery of these folks, ladies and gentlemen, here he is. We hadn't seen him for weeks, and now we've had a week where we've had him a couple times. But this is really so good. This is what it looks like when he looks at him and he's like, "Please don't fuck up and say something dumb. And I'm sorry you're being treated like a normal human, and it's all wrong." And this should not be happening. Greg Kelly on the Trump hush money trial. And again, his editors hate his fucking guts. That's why they took a picture of him where he's got big boy hair, and they put the hush money part in there instead of Trump trial in New York. Just say New York trial, and you don't have to say hush money. But
he didn't do it for money or power or fame.
Yes, he actually did.
He had all that.
And that No, he didn't.
That's why they hate him so much.
First of all, he doesn't have money and power and fame. He was infamous and gross. Look at his wife. She's fucking 3 steps ahead of him on this escalator. Think about that for a second. They don't. She could have stepped closer to him, slightly behind him, just to his side. She could have stood on the step above him with her hand on him to show how close they are. She's just like she's going to the fucking car.
Establishment. Why do you go in to the establishment? Why do you become a politician? For fame, for money, for power?
No, to be a public servant. That's why he would do it. That's why you would do it. That's why other Republicans do it. You do it because you think you can change the country and the world for the better, that you can further democracy, that you can guarantee it's got a good shepherd for a period of time, and that during the time you're there, you can maybe come up with solutions that have dogged America for a long time, or you can be there during a crisis and guide it through that crisis while still maintaining the values of the place. That's why, you dumb son of a bitch.
He had all that stuff. All right, have you heard?
No, he didn't. He was broke as fuck. He was a laughingstock in New York City. Seriously, he did this as a stunt and it went awry.
There is now a jury that they found that will be hearing the evidence on Monday.
Oh, look how far. Look at these guys don't look like he's farting on them at all. Jesus Christ.
Call me Snake.
Right. Yeah, this is, I gotta say, it looks like they're downwind. Oh, God, what the hell?
There he is. Even at the defense table, he looks like a winner. He really.
No, he doesn't. He looks wet. What are you talking about? He looks like he just did the fucking ice bucket challenge. Like a winner. He looked like he was watching Pornhub on that monitor and got caught with his hands in his lap. What?
Does. There aren't enough people out there defending him, calling out this trial for the total farce that it is.
What are you talking about? According to Trump, it's everybody.
Handful of folks in conservative media, but not as much as it should be. It should.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't want to run to his to support him on this paying off a porn star thing. I mean, are they worried that evangelicals will judge them? Looks like a winner. What are you talking about?
Be widespread everywhere. This should.
It should be, and you're right. It should be widespread if the MAGA movement is as big as you said it was. If his movement was this big and he got as many votes as you said, the streets should just be packed with people, right? Even in New York City.
Not be happening. As usual.
It should not be happening.
He's his own best advocate.
No, he's, and by the way, if he is, that's fucking terrible. He's in court. You should hire the best advocates. None of us should be our own best advocate in the courtroom. Especially if you have the money. What the fuck? It's like saying OJ was his own best advocate.
Take a look.
The whole world is watching this hoax. You got a DA that's out of control. You have a judge that's highly conflicted.
Again, conflicted, has conflicts. You're so weird.
The whole thing is a mess, and you have the leading candidate and leading crooked Joe Biden by a lot. He's the one that should be in trouble. He's a crook. You got a crooked president.
Yeah, this is great. This is good stuff. I mean, I feel like, I didn't know how to feel about the evidence in this case, but now I've totally changed my mind. He really is good at this. I mean, this is your summation right here. I hope his attorney is taking notes.
Be in trial with all the stuff he's done and his family.
Yeah, why didn't that guy just quote this at the end of the trial? Shit, what end? He should end it today. Just walk in there. You know what? If his attorney walked in there and just repeated this, everybody in the courtroom would go, you know what? You're right. This is ridiculous. Can we get out of here, please? This doesn't feel like a real court case to me at all. I just feel like maybe just, honestly, there's got to be something here.
He should be in trial, but he's the one in charge.
Yeah, well, it's nice of you to say. He is president of the United States. You're right. He won. He did beat you. You were beaten by a guy apparently who can't find his way off a stage, can't put two sentences together, and campaign from a basement. And he kicked your ass real good. To quote John Cleese.
It's so true.
Yeah, that's so true, and it gets truer every day, except it doesn't.
Anyway, they say, oh, that's not true, and they try to fact check them all afternoon long.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't take that amount of time. It's pretty easy. I do it, and I'm here for the afternoon. But honestly, that clip was relatively short, and yeah, I nailed that one at less than 20 minutes.
It's not. No, he's holding some papers, yeah, from some of the legal heavyweights out there.
Citation needed.
There should be more.
Yeah, but there aren't. Isn't that weird? There should be more. Why aren't there? I mean, it's obviously a big case. Obviously, people, you know, in the entire legal spectrum would love to just put their 2 cents in, especially if it was, you know, if they felt it was making case law. Right?
They kind of tiptoe around the issue, but
do they?
But good for him.
How about this, Greg? He's guilty as fuck. He admitted it on the second day of the trial when he walked out and said it's called legal payments. It's called legal. These are legal. I put it under legal. Like, yeah, that's admitting the crime. Stupid.
And for finding support where we can.
What? We're gonna go to the bodega.
I'm supposed to be in New Hampshire. I'm supposed to be.
No, you're really not.
In Georgia. I'm supposed to.
All right. Also, you were already in New Hampshire, right? Why do you have to go back there all the time?
In North Carolina, South Carolina. I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. What's the difference between the Carolinas?
A lot of different places campaigning, but I've been here all day.
Get used to it.
On a trial that really is a very unfair trial. These are all stories. This is over the last few days from legal experts. This is Wall Street Journal editorial.
Really? You're going to play this whole fucking thing, Greg? Of course you are. He's fapping right now.
But all of these are stories from legal experts saying how this is not a case. The case is ridiculous.
Again, we covered this. Like, that's... please show me the article that says, the case is ridiculous.
There's another one. The case is a ridiculous Trump indictment. It's missing fraud. There is no fraud.
That's, again, very cumbersome headline. I'm just saying, I don't know who the editor is at the Washington Free Beanbag. But
all of these stories are stories of how...
By the way, real quick, hey, asshole, don't you have a social media network you can post these things on? And maybe, I don't know, I don't want to give you any ideas, but couldn't you tell people, these all stories, I posted these, you could take a look at them, read them yourself, they're on Truth Social, it's a great website, blah, 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 you know, Truth Sinkhole is the place to go. Wouldn't you do that if you, any of you with, like, I mean, it's unfair, because you guys are way smarter than anybody who follows him, but wouldn't you think, honestly, wouldn't it occur to you to go, all these stories are on Truth Social, please check it out, and then you would drive the audience up and you'd put it behind a fucking paywall or something so they have to subscribe to your channel, right? Wouldn't that be easy to do? Right? Wouldn't you think? I mean, I'm sick of giving this dickhead ideas, but for fuck's sake, I mean, he's trying to get traffic there. Yeah, toot sinkholes.
And these are done by the experts.
The experts.
And
yeah, expert.com, expert.org. They don't even want to make money. They're so busy being experts.
Bragg falsified business record, and he falsifies them. He's the one.
All right, again, maybe a little more information about what the fuck you're reading there. Because I got to tell you, it looks like you're misreading it.
He's the fraud. But take a look at all of these are stories. You see him here.
That's your attorney, you dumb son of a bitch. What? Take a look at this. Look at this. Look at this shit right here. People don't even fucking know. That's your attorney. This shouldn't be a surprise to him. It's a surprise to you. Good Lord.
Bragg's indictment even falls as an indictment.
Fails. The word is fails. It says fails. I guarantee, I haven't read that, but I guarantee it says fails. Dipshit.
All of them. Bragg crosses the Rubicon, indicting Trump on nonsense.
Who wrote that? Don Jr.?
On nonsense. Yeah, I know some people like, why would he do that holding those
Yes, I'm one of them. This is embarrassing and stupid.
papers there? Why?
Yeah, but Greg, you know better. I mean, from the perspective of someone who thinks if he could just find his way into Trump's toilet, he could end up with the greatest suntan anyone's ever had. You tell us how to feel about this.
Why not? How would you act if you were wrongly accused and pulled off your job and you got to sit?
If I had a social media network, I would send people there to read the evidence. Especially if it was losing money. That would be the primary one. Also, I guarantee you, I wouldn't do this outside the courtroom. This is fucking lame. Like, I would rather just like, you know what, send me to jail. I had this thought yesterday that I should come out and just show people articles like, and then I was like, good Lord, you want to go to jail and be hated for being a moron?
In that courtroom all day long.
Boo fuckity who.
But it's not getting him down. I haven't seen.
Yeah, it is.
Seen this before in court. You see that? That hand pump?
Yeah, that's strength. I mean, nothing says strength like I got to be honest, there's a giant fan blowing right there, and I think he just did like this to warn his attorneys that he's farting and the fan's going to blow it that direction.
I love it. And you know what? Look,
also, it's not like he's doing this. He's not on a fucking Olympics stand in Germany, you dumbass. He's just bleh.
Look, in America, I don't have a problem with some of the people who showed up for jury duty. I don't. The ones
You don't? Some of them? Oh, you mean the ones that like him?
The ones who are honest, the ones who said that they were biased, and yeah, that's kind of to be commended.
Right.
There are people out there, unlike the judge, who know that they're not impartial. Take a look.
Well, again, you can't. The jury doesn't take an action until the end of the court, end of the trial. They argue in the room, but you don't know their impartiality is in question until the end when they've made their judgment. The judge makes decisions the entire time that can be questioned under the umbrella of him being biased in one direction or another, and that will affect the ability for somebody to make an appeal. So that's why it's different.
Personally, I do not like him at all. I don't approve of a lot of what he has done as president, but I think that the right to a fair trial in this country is incredibly important.
If there's
someday I'm going to marry that girl. Yeah, what's not to like?
a reason that you don't think you could be impartial or that you could be perceived as biased, that you should raise your hand. So I raised my hand.
What happened? Why were you dismissed?
Because I couldn't be impartial.
You couldn't be impartial. So when the judge asked that hand, can you be impartial? You raised your hand and you said you cannot.
Exactly.
Yes, because I, like the other girl, I'm an attractive woman, and he is a pussy-grabbing scumbag who looks like he slammed his face in a fucking pumpkin pie, and he fart all the time. He is farting, so much farting, that make me crazy, honestly. My hair was long when I entered the courtroom, and it burned off from the wind from his backside. And so, no, I cannot sit there the whole time.
And good for her. Good for all of them. The judge, as he's asking these questions, he's the one. It should have dawned on him. What am I doing? I'm a complete hypocrite. I am totally and completely conflicted.
Well, if he was totally and completely conflicted, why wouldn't he just insist that they stay on? Why wouldn't he just randomly rule that they should be allowed?
Can't do this. You know, if the judge came in as a juror and he said, hey, you know, my daughter works in politics and I gave money to Joe Biden, it's by a matter of logic, he can't be a juror. Therefore,
Right, but you also can't, in a judge's situation, he's constantly making decisions throughout it that will, pardon the pun, he will be judged on in the adjudication of this particular case and in the appellate court afterwards, which none of the jurors will be.
He can't be a judge, but he is.
By the way, she seems lovely. This is the first time I've ever seen her, and fuck you for showing her face. You weirdo.
And he drew up this rigged questionnaire. You heard about the questionnaire?
I read the questionnaire. Why is it rigged?
Totally skewed, totally strange. Now, one thing, Newsmax is mentioned. I love it. They want to know if anybody gets their news from a bunch of different sources, including Newsmax. All right. What else?
Right, but they also put TikTok and Truth Sinkhole and other.
What else is in there? Oh, a list. Do you currently follow any anti-Trump or organization on any social media site, or have you done so in the past? And then they list a bunch of, well, I mean, let's face it, pretty hardcore groups out there. But they don't mention anything about Joe Biden. They don't mention anything about Black Lives Matter.
Oh, shit. Okay, tongue jut. I think you just immediately, I think, didn't Trump use all 6 of his, or 6 out of 10 of his immediate ejections on black people just to make sure? I mean, you can't trust those folks. I mean, look at them. Would God have made them that color if they were trustworthy? I mean, come on. Also, Antifa, these all seem pro-Trump, and then this is, you ever consider yourself a supporter of, belong to any of the following? Seems pretty, I mean, I guess Antifa's the only one. He thinks it should be Antifa, BLM, the DNC, whatever. Yeah.
If you are for Biden, you're kind of automatically against Trump. And
only as a voter. But unfortunately, as a Democrat, I believe in the fair trial system. So I would have to judge him based on the rules of the court in that particular instance, not my generalized feeling about him.
Anyway, I talked to some legal experts. This thing is skewed and designed to find a bias.
Like who? Who'd you talk to? Some legal experts? Who are they, Greg? Let me guess. Dershowitz. Your dad.
Jury. As if we didn't have enough problems. Anyway.
Greg, you do not have enough problems. Not for me, anyways. I know everybody in your office wishes more problems on you.
They'll get through it, but we've got to help in any way we can. And
which is what? Offer to do the time for him?
I don't know. Maybe it's writing a check. Maybe it's think about it. All right.
Maybe it's writing a check. So you're making a plea for contributions to a political campaign on the air on Newsmax?
Next.
Donald Trump is no stranger to violating norms.
Trump is violating norms.
He violates political norms. When he violates constitutional norms.
Trump has violated norms.
Oh, yeah, the norms. And this is totally normal. Having a former president in court for this nonsense, and it is nonsense, and we
no, it isn't.
Have to recognize a guy named Mike Pomerantz. He is a really bad guy.
Oh, it's terrible. Look at him. He looks like look at him. He's clearly at the White House or someplace sketchy.
An evil doer, I think, in this whole
an evil doer. Oh, all right.
Scheme. He is a former prosecutor who volunteered to basically do legal work for the district attorney, for Alvin Bragg.
Cool. So public service is important.
Bragg. You can't.
Right. Did he volunteer to create fake evidence?
Do this stuff for free.
Yeah, you can.
Donald Trump is fully aware of this dude.
He's not fully aware. He's panicked about him.
You have Pomerantz, Mark Pomerantz.
I gotta say, he doesn't look fully aware of him. He looks like somebody interrupted him the first time he ever smoked weed, and when Pomerantz is outside, he's like, "Fucking what? This is rough shit." Pomerantz is out. Fucking, you got Pomerantz? Great. Why didn't somebody tell me Pomerantz was here? Shit.
He was Hillary Clinton's lawyer or Democrat National Committee's lawyer. He worked in Paul Weiss. He walked in and he
worked in Paul Weiss? Really? He's also a proctologist?
Took over the district attorney's office. Nobody's ever seen anything like that, to prosecute Trump. And then they wouldn't do what he wanted to do, and he goes out and he writes a book. Long before any decisions were made, he writes a book about it.
You mean there was enough evidence against you to fill a whole book? Weird.
And the book gets published, and
Okay, so other people agreed that there was something of substance in the book, and it sold fairly well, I guess?
Everybody's reading his book.
Wow, so it must be a good book full of good information. Shit.
And the judge said there's nothing wrong with that?
It is so incredibly unethical.
Oh, it's terrible to write a book when charges aren't going to be filed and say, I gotta tell my truth. In America, this shouldn't be allowed. People should not be allowed to write books about the president.
And the book, though, yeah, he incriminates himself big time. I read the book. Not as many people read the book as you might think. When I joined the Trump investigation, I got countless emails and telephone calls from friends and colleagues urging me to go get him and wishing me luck. How about that, huh?
And yes, Trump is an adjudicated rapist and an unrepentant liar and a fraudster. The dude can't even run a fucking charity in New York State. What do you think phone calls are supposed to sound like?
That, he put it in a book. It's one thing to have...
Right. He admits it. He's not ashamed of it. When I joined the Trump investigation, I got countless emails and telephone calls from friends and colleagues urging me to go get him and wishing me luck. Cool. Did they tell you to falsify evidence? Or if you want some help faking evidence, I'll help you out.
Friends who hate Trump, but see how arrogant they are. Listen to this. I was enthusiastic about working on the case and happy to work without pay.
Yeah, you can't trust somebody who is willing to work on something without pay. Obviously, those kind of people are fucking totally untrustworthy. You know what I mean? Anybody who will go and like work, especially in a campaign or something like that, I gotta say, some sketchy shit. Like if anybody was like, "I'll work for you for free," that you gotta worry about that. You gotta Didn't Manafort go and work for Trump for free, and then he in a message to a Russian oligarch he owed money to said, hopefully this will make him whole? Weird.
You see, when you're a lawyer, you're professional canons and all that stuff. It doesn't work if you don't get money. This is not pro bono. This is not a pro bono situation. This, I think you get disbarred for this, or maybe it will lend itself to a mistrial. Something else. This guy.
Okay, first of all, no. You can work pro bono for either side. You can work for the public for free. Good Lord, hold on. I think I've got 5 more minutes before I gotta go.
He goes right for the juicy stuff. I dug into the payment of hush money to Stephanie Clifford. I started there because it was interesting and easy to understand. You see, you think these guys care about the law? No, it was interesting to him. Let's see.
It was interesting. It was easy to understand as a crime, to convey it to people, the other crimes that he was involved in.
I had followed the whole story from the sidelines, and it involved allegations of sexual infidelity. Is that why you liked it so much, pal? As compared to delving into the valuation of various real estate holdings he wanted to talk.
Which was more complicated and also more the purview of people who are into that kind of stuff.
He comes up with this crazy plan that they're actually pursuing right now.
So it worked. It's so crazy, it might just work.
And in the book, he says it's undoable. To charge Trump with something other than a misdemeanor, the District Attorney of New York, DANY, would have to argue that the intent to commit or conceal a federal crime had converted the falsification of the records into a felony. No,
it did.
Nobody understands that.
I completely understand that. And again, you do not have to wait for the feds to charge someone for a federal crime if you believe it to qualify under that. Again, if they're not going to charge somebody for murder, that doesn't mean you have to wait to charge them for dismembering and disposing of a body in your district.
No appellate court, you see, in New York had ever upheld or rejected this interpretation.
Yeah, that would be because it had never come up.
interpretation of the law. It seemed we could not thread the needle of New York's antiquated penal law to find an appropriate felony charge that was immune from legal challenge.
Seemed. It's going to turn out that they were able to, isn't it?
But they're doing it anyway.
Well, I'm going to guess it's the "it seemed" part was because later on they did.
They're doing it anyway.
Oh, they're doing it anyways. I did it. I just did it. I'm going to do it again. I love to do it.
Who's going to stop them, right? The people? Ha, ha, ha. They laugh at us. I think we're going to get the last laugh. All right.
No, Greg. I'm fairly certain that my viewers and I are going to have a good time laughing, if not at you, near you. Yeah. So anyways, I got to go because I got to go to dinner and I've got a bunch of stuff to do. And I just
heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your...
I just, for the record, want to make sure that you guys know that the radio show tomorrow, Hal Sparks radio program, Megaworldwide, every Saturday, 11 a.m. And crazy stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks. Philly is next Saturday. If you're in the Philadelphia area and it's a drive for you, you're in New Jersey, any of that surrounding area, you'd like to come see a show, please come see us in Philadelphia. It's our one time there on this tour, so it shall not happen again. And I'm going to try and see if I can arrange to meet a bunch of people at the base of the stairs and run up to the top at the art museum like Rocky, and then we'll all, I don't know, if I can walk down to the Masonic Temple and I'll give you guys a walkthrough. It's pretty amazing. It's an amazing space. But either way, at the very least, I'll get to see it at the show. So that's going to be a good time. And then I'm also doing a show with Phil X on the Sunday right after that. So as soon as I'm flying back from Philly to LA and doing a show, a fundraiser that night with him, I'll post stuff on it this weekend because they're going to send me graphics for it to post that up. And then what else? Yeah. Madison's next. Sexy liberal. You guys know. I adore you. I will see you soon. Now I got to go take my girl to dinner. We're going to have dinner. It'll be lovely. I look forward to it. And if you're in LA, for the Phil X thing, I'll put out details wherever. I think they're auctioning off an autographed guitar for music education, that kind of stuff. I'll tell you about it later. And then if you're in Vegas, come see my girl show. Okay. Whew. So nice watching all these idiots freak out. Love you.
I like finding number two.
Even outside, it's packed.
We had a wet vaccine. The past wasn't that long ago.
We're going to be a country no more. I actually think it will not. It will be a country no more.
Oh yeah, that's normal. Here I am like an idiot.
Michigan gave us Motown. Gave us Motown. Gave us the Mustang.
I don't read, obviously.
I had a beat off. In his sock drawer. Heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Asshole. Lumpy pillows kiss my ass.
He can do things with his tongue you wouldn't believe it. When they gaze upon Yosemite,
I felt really good just after taking it.
they don't like the gas. I know words. I had the best words. Christopher Columbus. Christopher. Anonymous. Really, anonymous. I know words. I had the best words. Criminal. Look, wait. Obama.
I felt really good almost after taking it.
Deliberately, willfully
and with total premeditation.
I know words, I had the best words.
The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defied the seat of justice. It's defiled, right? See, I can't see it very well.
Here I am like an idiot. I know words, I had the best words.
The diversity lottery. And God bless the United States.
Here I am like an idiot.
Our Army manned the air. It made a pivotal, really, free health care for illegal.
Action replays in magnified fortune. I know words, I had the best words.
Very large brain. Despite these obstacles, Karen Stanksinger defied the seat of justice. It's defiled, right?
I know words, I had the best words.
Free health care for illegal.
Would I approve waterboarding?
You know, I told the U.S. Marshals to go get the man who killed another man. Real bipartisan solutions.
I know words, I had the best words.
They said, oh.
You know, we just set another stock rocket. You saw that, right?
To be a Stanksinger.
Here I am like an idiot. I know words, I had the best words.
No perverts.
They don't like the gas.
I had a beat off. No perverts. They said, oh.
To me, Corona means Italy.
Here I am like an idiot.
The Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
When they gaze upon Yosemite,
They're de-engineering